Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with walk-ons.
The Next Round store is loaded up for fall. Check out all the new gear, including Next Round hoodies, pullovers, and much more. Go to nextround.store to see all the new fall collection. As the temperatures drop, make sure you have your Next Round hoodie or Next Round pullover. Order now and get free shipping for a limited time. It's all new merch at nextround.store. Make sure you're prepared for fall with all your Next Round fall gear. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies. Get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Football is back, and you can check out the new arrivals in the Next Round store. Support the brand by grabbing a t-shirt, hoodie, or hat. See the latest gear online at nextround.store. That's nextround.store. We've got gear in your favorite team colors, perfect to wear to the stadium or tailgate. All the gear has been approved by everyone on the show. Quality and comfort that's perfect to share as a gift. Just visit nextround.store. That's nextround.store, the official store of Double Down Media.
Final segment brought to you by our friends at Nichols Outfitters today.
They are clearing out the shelves of the 2022 gear to make room for all the 23 stuff. So this entire final quarter of the year, big savings there. Select items 30 to 50% off. It's a great opportunity to save now for the holiday season. The sale goes through the end of the year, but do not wait too long, because what you want, somebody else might get first. 30 to 50% off. Nichols Outfitters, I-65, exit 242 in Pelham.
Henry Toa wants you to not remember this Alabama defense by just what you saw in Knoxville this year.
Brian, when we talked to him last week, said that the defense wasn't going to let the Tennessee game define them. Just how do you think the defense responded against Mississippi State? And then after the bye week, just kind of what's y'all's focus heading into this last stretch of the regular season?
One game doesn't define you, how many points you get scored. It's about how you respond to something. If you take it as a loss, then it's going to be a loss. But, we try to look at it as a lesson to be able to know what we need to fix, how we need to, operate as a defense, as 11 guys on the field. But this bye week was huge for us, kind of going over our goals, going over the things that we struggled with through these past, I think, 8 games that we played. So definitely was a huge thing for us to be able to go through, our run goals, our pass goals, our explosive plays goals. So trying to harp on that and take this throughout the rest of the season.
I think we're still amazed at this point, the lack of turnovers that this group of defenders have been able to produce. I mean, think about how many times Tennessee put it in the air. You did get 2 interceptions, I believe, in that game. How many times State threw the football? How many times that teams throughout the season, forced fumbles? This defense just hasn't turned the opponents over as much as traditionally Alabama defenses do.
Yeah, and that could be the difference on why you've got 3 games through 8 games for the first time since 2007 that Alabama has either lost or won by 7 or less points.
Yeah, Alabama's still negative in turnover margin, -4. Auburn is the worst in the conference at -10. Tennessee's the best at +8. But -4 turnover margin for Alabama is just that's something this deep in the season you just used to never see.
Yeah, I would assume the only time you saw it was in 2007.
Probably so, yeah.
Bob says because of their schedule, like Georgia lost to Tennessee, they're out of the playoff race?
Yep.
Because they won't have that SEC championship game?
That's why I believe Georgia has more pressure.
You'll be putting everything on that Oregon win. I mean, what's their next best win after Oregon if they lose to Tennessee?
Just the reputation of being the defending national champs.
That helps a little bit. But if you start tearing apart that schedule, it's going to be hard to find great wins for them.
Yeah, we're running out of time for all this to sort itself out. I don't know if we've ever been this deep into it.
After one ranking.
Still a lot of football left. The big games happen in November, and that starts this weekend. And don't forget, we got Bud Light game night tonight down at the Steel Gastro Pub in Lakeview. We're looking forward to that. We'll be down there 5 to 7, 5 to 6 on all of our video platforms. We're back with you at 9 Central tomorrow. Hopefully a Rockstar Playhouse if the voice holds up, and a lot more. We look forward to a fun Friday show. Until next time, God bless you. And God bless America.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We get to a major football Saturday in the Southeastern Conference tomorrow with number 1 versus number 1 in Athens and a meaningful game for Alabama and LSU down in Baton Rouge. And that's just part of a really good Saturday schedule. Welcome into our Friday show. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Rockstar, Lunsford's here. Forster taking one more day. Tyler, the intern, Taylor, who's our social media director, is out in mission control for everything at Next Round Live and all our social media platforms. Man, it's a big weekend. Arguably, the only one that's going to come close to this Tennessee-Georgia matchup potentially is Michigan-Ohio State at the end of the year, potentially. But right now, there's no doubt how big this game is in Athens. And all you have to do, LT and Brownie, is just look at the ticket prices for this game. It is harder to get into Tennessee, Georgia than it is right now for Game 6 in Houston for the World Series. It's being called the most expensive ticket in the regular season in college football history.
History. Look, Tennessee fans,
according to Field Yates,
are hungry. You know, I don't know. Georgia fans, I'm sure they're still excited, but they won a national championship last year. If I'm a Georgia fan, I'm not paying thousands of dollars to get into this game. Are you?
Again, we made this point the other day. How many great games do you get to see at Sanford Stadium?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. I mean, this is a rare opportunity for you to go to Sanford Stadium and see, like when Kirby was talking about it the other day. You remember the game he referenced, right? Notre Dame. That was 2019?
Yeah.
It was pre-pandemic. Notre Dame. I mean, that's the last. That was the reference Kirby had to go back to find a game like this at Sanford Stadium. You just don't get it a whole lot. Now, so I'm not saying I'd pay that much, but I'm saying I could maybe see why you'd want to.
Zach says, now slow down a little bit. What about Alabama LSU in 2011? According to Field Yates, the most expensive get-in price, what you had to pay to get into the stadium, which is the cheapest ticket, was Ohio State and Michigan the year they were both unbeaten, and that was $5.19 a ticket to just get in. That was the cheapest price to get into it.
Was that 2006?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. The unbeaten year. $6.26 is the current get-in price in Athens, bypassing that one. That one from Field Yates. I don't know how much, Field is dialed into this. He's quoting the folks at Tick Pick. I'm not familiar with them. I'm an A-Tix guy.
Well, if you're a Tennessee fan, you're paying whatever you can to get into this because they haven't beaten Florida, Alabama, and Georgia in the same season since 2004.
Yeah. I learned something about this game today that I was really unaware of.
What is that?
Tennessee and Georgia are charter members of the Southeastern Conference, right?
They really are.
Yeah. And they play annually now because they're in the same division. How many times did they play before 1992? So obviously 1992 is what forced them to play annually. That's when we went to two divisions. How many times do you think two charter members of the Southeastern Conference met prior to 1992?
16 times.
That seems low, doesn't it, though? I mean, when was the conference founded?
Yeah, that'd be way too low, wouldn't it?
19. Not way too low.
19?
Can you believe those two teams never played? They went from like 19. Here, I got it right here.
They're border schools.
I know. I was stunned by this.
The map connects them.
1936, Tennessee beat Georgia 46-0. They would not play again until 1969. They went 33 years without even playing. How did those two teams not play more?
I wonder what happened in that game.
Which one?
Was there a brawl or something?
Could have been. General Nealon was the coach.
Remember, the schedule only had, 6 SEC games is all you played back in the day? You had all these out-of-conference games.
I don't think you'd go 30 years without playing a border game like that.
Alabama and Georgia didn't play each other a ton. Yeah. Alabama seemed to play Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Auburn, Tennessee.
Some of these rivalries, I call this a rivalry. I guess it's not. I guess it's a division game, but it's not a historic rivalry anyway, and I used to always think it was. Like the Hobnail Boot game. I remember watching that thinking, God, these two teams hate each other. I mean, I thought this was a great rivalry. It's a great game now, but I don't guess it's a historic rivalry the way I thought it was. Because I always look to see in rivalries like this, or what I think is one, who's got the lead. And I was like, Georgia only leads this thing 26-23. They've only played that many times?
Right. That is weird. I did not know that.
I didn't either.
Because I'm like you with Georgia, and we've talked about this many times. It always seems like Georgia has more rivals than anybody else because Georgia, Florida, Georgia, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, Georgia, Clemson. They all seem like rivalry
Georgia
games.
Tech.
Georgia Tech. Forget the obvious one. That's not really a rivalry game anymore. It doesn't seem like. And they, you throw in Alabama, Georgia now when they play each other, it seems like a rivalry game. It's fun. We'll talk about the actual game on the field in a little bit, but the buzz about this again, I'm going to say Phil Yates said that according to TickPick. Using theirs. I'm not familiar with them. Caleb says Vivid Seats, ESPN partner, currently has the cheapest ticket to get in at $458. I'd love to maybe get our man from ATIX on, just a quick text to him and ask him how tough of a ticket is compared to some other games, because he was around for Alabama LSU too, right?
Yeah.
2011 game. So it'd be interesting to see how tough that ticket is
right now
for Tennessee and Georgia as compared to the game of the century, 2011. In Lunsford asking the question, how many times has number one played number one? And you say, well, Jim, we haven't always had the college football playoff rankings, but there have been many times throughout history we've had two different number one teams in the AP and the UPI, but to think that they would pair up as the season is progressing seems pretty unlikely. I wonder, and it's probably somewhere, I wonder if we've ever had a number one versus number one matchup in the regular season before.
In the regular season, probably not, if I had to guess. I mean, back in the bowl season, you probably got AP 1, UPI 1, right, playing each other to determine who the real number one is.
I would imagine
I say that, but a lot of times the bowls were limited on.
We're sending them in different directions, right?
Yeah, I mean, number one versus number one. Oh, Dennis, this is so weird.
He just
tweeted it.
Dennis Dodd?
Did you? Yeah. That you weren't reading his tweet?
No, I don't. I fly by the seat of my pants on this show. I cannot even tell you what I'm going to say after I say this.
Well, actually, Dennis
I didn't even know I was going to say that.
Dennis is just asking the question. He doesn't know either. When was the last one versus one matchup? Would have to be one AP versus one coaches / UPI. He says, I just realized there was one this weekend in Athens. Dennis is just coming around to this.
So Dennis, too, listening to this show and flying by the seat of his pants.
That's right. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, people like the youngs in the audience don't remember this, but it was pretty rare we got 1 versus 2.
Yeah,
much less 1 versus 1. I mean, 1 versus 2 almost never happened.
If I had to guess, if I was going to say which likely matchup was 1 versus 1, and I don't know if there is one out there, I don't know, but I would say Oklahoma, Nebraska, somewhere back in the 70s, 80s, somewhere around there. Because it seemed like those teams were always 1-2, 1-2, a lot in the rankings.
Could you see an Alabama Notre Dame 1-1?
Well, technically when they played in the 73 Sugar Bowl, Alabama was already the number one team in the AP poll, so they'd already won that championship before they played, or the coaches, whichever one went out early.
Yeah.
But I think Alabama was number one in the other poll until they played the game.
The year USC split it with LSU, USC was 1 AP, LSU was 1 BCS, right? I know they didn't play, but that's how that turned out, right?
I think so.
USC won the AP. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Matthew is quickly with capital letters, 1966 Notre Dame versus Michigan State.
I'll look that
but
up.
Were they 1 versus 1 when they were playing the game, Matthew? That's the question.
And that ended up a tie, right?
That did end up a tie.
6-6?
They split the title in 66. But when they actually played the game, was it 1 versus 1?
I've got it as, well, hang on. I'm going to have to look at it.
Okay, as you look that up,
Yeah.
I just got confirmation from our man Steve Susi from ATIX that, yes, this ticket is bigger than 2011 Alabama LSU.
Wow. So that officially from ATIX, the word when it comes to getting into big games like this. If you want to go see the Phillies in Houston, or you want to go see Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama, LSU in Baton Rouge, or any other big game, our friends at ATIX, always there for. We love that relationship and appreciate them being with us all throughout the years. All right, we'll get into everything else going on and the things we saw last night. Brought to you in part today by Dr. B. Dr. B, the person who has LT's hair on fire right now, growing at a 14% rate.
12 to 14% more
The only
than
thing
it
growing,
was.
the only thing growing faster than inflation right now is LT's hair.
That's what we're trying. That is what we're trying with Dr. B. When I went in for that second analysis, it was 12 to 14% more growth. Just started my second phase of the treatment. Already seeing more growth. Look, with age, unfortunately for most comes hair loss. When it started to happen to me, I asked around. Dr. B was the guy that everyone said I needed to call. Look, Dr. Beckenstein, he is a guy that he's got the expertise. He treats each patient personally, applying his expertise to produce those quality results for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience in his advanced training to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316. I'm going to quickly ask you guys this. I have noticed two people that I know over the last couple of weeks that are starting to thin a little bit. Do you think it's okay to say, hey, look, just letting you know I was in your situation a couple of years ago?
They're aware of it, yeah.
Okay.
Is one of them me?
Would you please call Maggie and tell her I'm not a candidate because of my age, that I have passed the window that Dr. B can help me?
Why? Is she riding your back?
She's brought it up twice. Well, if it's working so well for LT.
So no,
because I was bragging about your 14% growth.
You need to do what Silvio did in The Sopranos.
No.
What'd Silvio do?
Just put a wig on.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's what Rockstar said. He had thick hair Monday.
Yeah.
Great hair.
Not,
Blonde.
I'm not a toupee guy. I'd rather be bald or wear a hat than wear a toupee.
Do you agree, Rocky, if I see somebody thinning, going and say, hey, look, man, it's helping me?
That's a touchy.
I mean, it's not like calling a woman fat.
But Brown, you
Well,
asked the
you can
question.
lose
Is
weight.
it? You asked the question. Is it me?
Is it me?
Is it him?
Is it Brown?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Notre Dame was one in both polls when they played in 66. And Michigan State was number 2. Again, that was a 1 versus 2, which was earth-shattering at the time.
Yeah, that is rare
Yeah.
as well. But they did end up, to his point, they were 1-1 at the end of the
Yeah.
year. Caleb says Oklahoma, Florida in 2008. Oklahoma was number 1 in the BCS. Florida was number 1 in the AP. That was in a bowl game.
That
though,
was
right?
not regular season.
That was not regular season, but that was a 1 versus 1 matchup. Thank you, Caleb, for that one there. See if it's happened right there in the regular season. You guys keep looking for us. We appreciate that so much.
I'm counting on Dennis Dodd. Now that he's asked the question, I'm assuming he's digging.
If
He'll
it's,
tweet it out.
if it's happened, our audience will beat Dennis to the
You
punch.
think they'll beat Dennis, and I'll text Dennis and say, hey, heads up, our audience answered your question?
Exactly, 100%. Last night in college football, big win for Coastal Carolina. They beat Appalachian State to stay a nice little buffer in first place in the Sun Belt Eastern Division. So they'll get a chance, if they keep winning, to play in the Sun Belt Conference Championship game.
Couldn't figure out Appalachian State being favored in that one. I asked Lance about 3 or 4 times. It just didn't make any sense.
Well, you know,
And
Appalachian
Coastal's
State
a better team,
has
obviously.
own Coastal, though.
Yeah.
But I would imagine the way occasionally you prognosticate with that weird line and everybody thinking it's an easy win for Coastal, I would assume you win Appalachian State,
Well, no,
being a contrarian.
I actually thought Appy State was the better team.
Yeah.
So I did like Appy last night. And, you know, they were 6-1 coming into this game in this series.
Yeah.
App State was.
Yeah, and it was just explosive plays. Chase Bryce made one really bad mistake, which was virtually a pick six. It was returned to the 1. After that touchdown, they go up 21. Appalachian State battles back, makes it a 7-point game, but they can never get over the hump.
Yeah.
Explosive plays, bad turnover. That was the difference last night.
Really entertaining game tonight. We got Duke and BC. BC just got beat by UConn. Should be another good win for Duke here. But Oregon State, Washington tonight, 9:30 ESPN2. That's 2 6-2 football teams. Both their losses coming in conference, so 2 3-2 Pac-12 teams. Any hope of making it to the Pac-12 championship, even though it's on the outside, relies on a win tonight. But 2 teams that are 6-2, 2 pretty good football teams.
Oh,
tonight.
yeah. Look, Jonathan Smith, again, has built this Oregon State program up, and they're ranked for the first time in the regular season since 2012. So we'll see what both of these teams do coming off a bye. You know, unfortunately for Oregon State, they've won 3 consecutive games with a backup quarterback. Chance Nolan is still going to be out with a concussion. It's amazing that guys are in protocol for more than a month.
Yeah, it really is, yeah. I
Most likely not his first one, which gets it to extend a little bit longer each time.
I got a few games I'd written down for the for our pick 3 at the end of the show, and I wrote that one down before it occurred to me that it's a Friday night game. I was just looking at the matchups, not the times. I'd written down Washington minus 4.5. Playing in Seattle. I like Oregon State. I like them more at home. I feel like this is a Washington game here.
Well, you know, Ben Gulbranson is the backup quarterback, and you know, how much juice does he really have? Can he win 4 consecutive games?
Yeah, we'll see how that one plays out tonight. A lot of fun there. Don't forget our Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3 is up for you to play right now. It's easy. You just go to nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. You click on the big Buffalo Wings logo. And you go there, you pick a pool and play those 3 games, try to go 3-0. You get into the championship, which it's just a few weeks away when we'll have a pickoff rivalry weekend coming up week 13. So you got week 10, 11, and 12, just 3 more weeks to try to get into the championship and go 3-0. So keep playing, jump in there, and try to be 3-0 and play for the championship at the end of the year. More college football a little bit, but NFL last night, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, they get the win. They're 8-0 for the first time in franchise history. Everyone expected the Eagles to win last night. Probably wasn't as easy as everyone thought it was going to be. Didn't cover. The Eagles didn't get outside the number of 14, which is huge in an NFL game, but they don't care. It's a win. It's 8-0. They're not trying to impress a pollster. They're just trying to keep winning.
8-0 for the first time in franchise history. Hurts had a bad turnover in the first half. It was tied at halftime. They pulled away in the second half. And I heard the discussion this morning, will they go 17-0?
Oh, my gosh. We're doing that again?
You know what's interesting, though, is looking at their schedule, and you can pull it. They're only going to
Zero chance.
They're only going to be underdogs in one game.
At Dallas.
At Dallas. That's it.
Yeah. They.
I agree with you. Zero
chance. Teams don't go 17-0. It's ridiculous that we do this every year.
But people are talking about it just based on schedule.
Yeah. They play 3 straight road games, which is kind of rare, I think. At Giants, at Bears, at Cowboys. There's a loss in there somewhere.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, it's just hard to play on the road in football. So, in fact, their stretch coming up, I mean, it's not the hardest schedule in the world. There's no doubt about it. Commanders at Colts, hosting Packers, hosting Titans. At Giants, at Bears, at Cowboys, hosting Saints, hosting Giants. I mean, that's the rest of their schedule.
Yeah, but they continue to look good. I love the way their offense plays out. So
they're going to be a major factor. I would go on and say they will have home field.
You think they when it's
I
all
do.
said and done, home field advantage through the playoffs?
They'll be the 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah, because I think worst case they're probably 14-3.
But you still think San Francisco is the best team?
I do. Yeah.
Even San Francisco at Philadelphia in January to go to the Super Bowl, you still like 49ers?
Yeah, I mean, I like the 49ers in Green Bay last year in Lambeau, and you saw what they were able to do. They shut that offense down. You heard Furman on the show. He thinks that number to be about 2.5 or 3. I agree, and he said he would run to the window to grab San Francisco.
I think it's just a tight end, but adding in Hawkinson, does that change your opinion on Minnesota's potentially contending?
Still Kirk Cousins.
Oh, I know. He's very average. Yeah, but he's got good receivers.
Yeah, he does.
Well, you can be very average when you don't have to throw the ball 10 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the people he throws to every single game.
But I still trust Garoppolo more than I trust Cousins. Do you guys not?
I do.
QB2? Well, you trust QB2?
What a terrible move that was for San Francisco. Now, my franchise has greatly benefited from it, so I thank them for being knuckleheads and doing it.
So you've gotten Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and now
Bradley Chubb from the picks that they fleeced San Francisco for.
It's unbelievable.
So San Francisco could draft Trey Lance so they could sit him on the bench and continue starting the guy they already had.
Yep.
Makes no sense whatsoever. Miami Dolphins say thank you very much.
You change that franchise forever.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't disagree with that. Waddle and Hill are 2 of the top 4 receivers in the NFL right now. Bradley Chubb's one of the best pass rushers.
Yep.
And by dropping down that same draft, didn't you get Tua a little – was that the same draft or was that after?
What, with Tua?
Yeah.
No.
That was before. Okay. Interesting with San Francisco. I like where Minnesota is, too. It's a fun race, but Philadelphia will be a player after really being a throwaway in the playoffs last year. I thought it was an easy win for Tampa. They look totally different this year. Adding A.J. Brown, he continues to be impressive. The Eagles with a win last night. Before we talk about the World Series and get to Henry To'oTo'o, let me tell you about the folks at the University of Montevallo. If you're looking for an unbelievable place for your son or daughter to go to school, a really comfortable southern setting right there at the University of Montevallo. Beautiful campus, small class sizes, wonderful 21 NCAA Division II fully funded scholarship sports. Montevallo's got all of that and a growing campus as well. Check it out, montevallo.edu, montevallo.edu. They've really worked on the infrastructure, building new buildings, making the dorm life better on campus. They continue to improve on that, and they've kept the price point low. In fact, they hadn't raised the tuition in 5 straight years going into this school year. Check out Montevallo's schedule and in-person tour, montevallo.edu. Crucial Game 5 last night in Philly, the last one in Philly, and Justin Verlander finally got his World Series win. He looked really good in a 3-2 win. Astros over the Phillies. The Astros now just need 1 win of the 2 final games, potentially back home in Houston.
Yeah, and of the previous World Series tied at 2 apiece, Game 5, Victor has won 31 of 47, which is not great when you think about it. Your Nationals were down 3-2. You go to Houston just a couple of years ago and win games 6 and 7.
Yeah, and that seemed like an impossibility, honestly.
Yeah, so it can be done. This
Yeah.
has been a weird series again, but good for Justin Verlander. I mean, one of the greatest pitchers we've ever seen, 244 career wins.
First ballot Hall of Famer, but he had no World Series.
Yeah,
wins.
he's going to win his third Cy Young. Now he's lowered his ERA, sub-6. He
In
got
the
that first
postseason.
win.
Yes.
He did work his way out of some jams last night, but they get the win. Jeremy Pena, the rookie, had 3 big hits last night. I mean, the Astros, I thought going into this, I didn't think it was going to be much of a series.
Yep.
So I give Philadelphia a lot of credit where it is right now.
Credit to Bobby from Homewood. He called it. He says he watches a lot of baseball. He's a big Cubs fan. And he said, I think this matches up where it's going to be a really entertaining World Series. And through 5 games, it has. I mean, it hasn't always been a close game like it was last night, but it's been an entertaining series nonetheless. The defense that the Astros threw out there in the 8th and 9th inning was really impressive.
Yeah, the play at first and then the center fielder up against the wall. That's one of the better catches you'll ever see.
Yeah, McCormick.
Like in the history of baseball. I mean, when you consider all that was on the line.
Well,
there.
and you thought when it leaves bat, it's probably gone. We got a tie game.
Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible play.
Back to our 1-versus-1 matchup. Chris jumps in 1968 Notre Dame versus Purdue. Check that one out, Brown. 1968 Notre Dame versus Purdue. A little in-state rivalry. People forget about that. You know, they used to play each other quite a bit. West Lafayette and South Bend, both in the state of Indiana if you don't have a map at home. We'll talk more college football with Henry To'oTo'o coming up. Brown will research that 68 Notre Dame Purdue game. Henry To'oTo'o's next. Also, we'll do the Pick 3. Andy Staples is on the show today. Tyler Watts, Rockstars Playhouse, our Monday's headlines. That's our Michelson look ahead, brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, make the call today, 969-8100. You've got no reason not to make that call to find out if LASIK is right for you. I did it over 2 decades ago. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. Now I have 2015 vision, better than 2020. 969-8100. Ask for Amy Toa. The Next Round sent you. They will hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama back in 1995. He's a pioneer. Dr. Jen Michelson is there. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Follow Sean Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live daily show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At NextRound.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting NextRound.store.
For one of Birmingham's best beer selections since 2016, come check out our friends at the Beer Hog. With 64 local, regional, and international craft beers on tap, there is something for everyone. Plenty of TVs to watch all the games while you enjoy some of their fresh-baked pizzas and delicious appetizers. The Beer Hog also has wines on tap and a full bar with great signature cocktails. Don't forget about the large selection of packaged beer and growlers to go. Follow us on Facebook or just stop by the Beer Hog located 2408 Pelham Parkway.
Holly Mack Wilson is not your normal Keller Williams agent. With too many certifications to count, she is now in the top 2% of all Western Alabama real estate agents. That means she's more qualified to help you buy or sell a home, better trained in negotiating the best deal possible, and now can help you buy or sell a home anywhere in Alabama. From Huntsville to Gulf Shores or anywhere in between, call Holly Mack Wilson at 205-901-9446 or visit hollymachomes.com. Holly Mack Wilson, an anywhere in Alabama realtor.
Fall weather is the best time to be on the golf course, and Jerry Pate's design at Timberline will not disappoint. The course is in fantastic condition, and if you don't have time for a round of golf, come use Timberline's TrackMan driving range. You can practice, play games, and play virtual golf all on the practice tee. Come enjoy your day on one of Alabama's top 10 courses you can play. It's Timberline Golf Club. Timberline is easy to get to just off I-65 at exit 228. Book tee times online at timberlinegc.com. Tee it up at Timberline.
This is your home. You want a brighter future and a community that's united by action and commitment. And united starts with you. We are United Way. And for almost 100 years, we have served people from all walks of life. That's our united commitment. United starts with you. Give to United Way of Central Alabama.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
The Next Round store is loaded up for fall. Check out all the new gear, including Next Round hoodies, pullovers, and much more. Go to nextround.store to see all the new fall collection. As the temperatures drop, make sure you have your Next Round hoodie or Next Round pullover. Order now and get free shipping for a limited time. It's all new merch at nextround.store. Make sure you're prepared for with all your Next Round fall gear. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
We'll do our pick 3 from Buffalo Wild Wings coming up after we talk with Henry To'oTo'o. You know, the forecast is looking like it may be raining in Baton Rouge. Can't wait to talk to Henry if he likes rain games or not. I wonder if he's ever played in a snow game.
All right.
I'm going to say no.
No in the snow?
Grew up in California. He's played in Knoxville and Tuscaloosa. I'm guessing no.
Knoxville may be the further north he's played.
I don't know if he's seen
outside.
snow.
Well, he did at the national championship last year. Some ice anyway.
Oh, jeez. Don't remind me of that
Big
weather.
weekend. Let's talk to Henry.
All right. He is on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. It's Alabama linebacker Henry To'oTo'o here on the Next Round, presented by Bud Light. Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch remind you to decide to ride. Before you ever take that first drink, have a plan in place. That's how Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light remind you decide to ride. Henry, what is up, man? How are you?
What's up, guys? I'm good. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
I got to ask, are you a front runner? Like, you transfer to Alabama, you've got a World Series Boston Red Sox shirt on. You got the Golden State Warriors in the background.
Well, he grew up in California. He's in the Golden State area.
And, like, I just rock these shit. Like, I get all kind of vintage shirts. Like, I got all kind of crazy shirts.
So you're no Red Sox fan. You're not a Red Sox fan because you also have a Giants banner. You're a Giants guy, right?
Definitely a Giants guy. Definitely a Warriors guy. Definitely a Sacramento Kings guy. So I keep it local when I support like who I support.
Okay, so no SoCal, no Dodgers, no Rams, no Lakers.
Those is we don't like the down south people.
Hey, I'm always interested. There's a forecast. You know, we get a normal forecast. Do you guys get a prep forecast early on in the week when you're preparing for a game? Like, have y'all done any work with wet footballs this week? Anything like that? Do y'all ever get prepped on weather or anything before you go on a road game?
Yeah, we definitely we're working on some wet balls. You know, the manager guys will come out and spray the balls for, you know, the offensive guys. But, you know, that was pretty much it, trying to get the, you know, quarterbacks used to throwing the ball wet, you know, and things like that.
Jim has sold it hard, 37%. No, I'm sorry, 53% at kick. So, you know, 50-50 chance of rain there.
I just want Henry to be prepared.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to sneak up on Alabama. Oh, wait a minute, that's Friday. Let me look at the Saturday forecast.
See. I mean, you don't think Alabama's using like the U.S. Naval Academy for the weather?
2% chance of rain, Henry. Tell the managers they put the hoses up. So this defense played very, very well, it appeared, against Mississippi State. When you guys went back and looked at the film, was it as good a bounce back game from the Tennessee performance as you wanted?
I mean, yeah, you know, you want to respond that way. You want to respond, you know, holding the offense to only 6 points. You know, we were hoping to shut out, but you want to respond in a way to have, the confidence, your ego back up. And I think that was a good way for us to start, a good way for us to come back off of a 52-point game like that. But, it's just carrying it on now, playing with consistency and for all 4 quarters. So, that's kind of our main goal right now, but it was huge for us to bounce back like that off of a game like that.
There's a lot of mobile quarterbacks in 2022, but when you look at Jaden Daniels, he's got 646 rushing yards. That's the most in the FBS for quarterbacks. And over his last couple of games, 6 rushing touchdowns. When you watch him on film, what makes him a good runner? Because, sitting back on the couch, he doesn't look that explosive. He looks a little shifty, but obviously the guy's getting it done.
Yeah, he's super fast. Like he's probably not as fast as people think. And he knows where to go with the ball. And they draw up a lot of good plays for him to be able to get out in space and create so much space to where it's going to be hard for you to tackle him in space. So I think that's one thing they do a great job of is finding him ways to be able to, make some missed tackles, make some guys in space to be able where he can outrun them. But he's a great quarterback. He can do everything that, you want a quarterback to do. But, his legs is really, really dangerous.
Bryce Young fought through that injury and, got into as many games as he possibly physically could down the stretch. It's been huge for you guys. But you see him in practice after an off week. I'll let you pretend you're Dr. Toa Toa for a second. How close to 100% do you think Bryce is?
I think Bryce is always 100%, no matter if he's hurt or not. I think that's my opinion. Bryce came and played in that Tennessee game, and it was like he hasn't even skipped a beat. So, I think Bryce is one of those guys to where he's going to study his butt off, even if he's not out there practicing. And he's going to prepare like, he's in there playing.
Henry To'oTo'o is with us. The Alabama linebacker on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline is the next round, presented by Bud Light. Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch remind you to decide to ride before you ever take that first drink. Make sure you decide to ride. Have a plan in place with Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. You're going to Tiger Stadium, historically one of the more difficult places to play. You have never played a game there. What stories have you heard about going to a night game at Tiger Stadium?
It's crazy. I've always seen like videos of when like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and all those guys were there, and like of when Joe Burrow ran out and how crazy the atmosphere was there. But definitely just another hostile environment, definitely huge for us. And, I heard it's going to be crazy. I heard the fans going to be loud. Coach Saban always harps on that, how much, those people are going to, bash you and want you to lose and be against you. So I heard some crazy stories up there, man. I'm just super excited to finally be, in Death Valley.
Yeah. What kind of complications? Like, obviously, Neyland Stadium was a very hostile environment. How does it complicate it for the defense?
Whenever the offense gains momentum, the crowd goes crazy. And, teams feed off of momentum. We feed off of momentum, especially when we're at home games. When the crowd goes crazy, that just brings another life and energy to that home team. So being able to, stop them, limit the crowd noise as much as we can, and ultimately try to clear the stadium out is our ultimate goal. So being able to do that and sustain that crowd and try to keep them out as much as we can is going to be huge for us.
You guys were in this situation last year after losing to Texas A&M, zero margin of error. You guys handled it last year. Is there more pressure, though, knowing that you guys can't have another loss?
Not really. I think like all our dreams and aspirations is right there, like how we talked about as a team before. I think it just ultimately comes down to how bad do we want it and how much are we going to do willing to get that goal that we want. And I think that's going to be the huge part for us. You never want to lose. You never want to slip up. But I don't think our guys for the pressure. I don't think we for the pressure. I really don't. Everything we want is right in front of us. So it's about doing what you need to do to get there.
Okay, 2 things. One, don't pay too close attention to what the LSU fans are doing on the drive into the stadium on Saturday. Apparently, you'll get mooned a lot, maybe flipped off by a few birds or something. One former player told us one time that like an 80-something-year-old grandmother went out there and mooned the bus. So sunglasses and keep your eyes forward driving into the stadium, right? You don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that, right?
I hope no does that to me. I hope she does. I hope they don't.
Yeah. The other thing is it's Friday night on the road. Do you know the movie yet? You're going to catch a movie on the road tonight?
We're definitely gonna catch it. I don't know the movie yet. They sent us some options. I forgot.
Yeah, no problem.
So we've got a good friend that's an LSU grad, and every year for this game he does jambalaya, and his homemade jambalaya is unbelievable. Have you had Cajun food before?
Jambalaya. I mean, I haven't had some real jambalaya. Like they'll give us some jambalaya like at nighttime, for snack. But I don't know if that's like real deal. Like I ain't had no like real deal Cajun jambalaya. I ain't gonna lie.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, you need to try it out.
Yeah, it's good
If they
stuff.
give you the option of going to see Black Adam or going to eat Cajun food, I would go eat Cajun food.
I think I wish I had an option. I don't got an option tonight.
Yeah, got to go with the team.
Do you opposite? It's not opposite you guys. It's before you guys, and I know you don't get a chance to watch. Do you care who wins the Georgia-Tennessee game? Does that even matter to you? It's the biggest game in the nation this week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a good game. I really don't care. I ain't gonna lie. I'll be happy to play either one of them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you just hope you get the winner. You don't really care who wins it, right? You just hope you get the winner.
Get the winner. I mean, we lost to both of them, so
yeah,
revenge on both of them will be a blessing.
Yep.
Yeah. Josh Maxson just texted me. He said that was a really good answer, Henry. Very good answer.
Oh, Maxson. Hey, Henry, best of luck down in Baton Rouge. We look forward to catching you next Friday, man. Safe travels.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, buddy. Thank you. That is Henry To'oTo'o with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
What kind of question was that?
Here on the next round, it was a legitimate question. Do you care who wins? A lot of people care. On the next round is presented by Bud Light, who reminds you to decide to ride before you ever take that first drink. Make sure you have a plan in place. That's how you decide to ride with Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light.
I would assume, Henry still has some friends on that team. And if I was in that situation, I don't know about you guys, Alabama was able to redeem I guess Georgia was able to redeem it. Right. But you have an opportunity to redeem what you lost in the regular season against an undefeated number one in Tennessee.
The perfect – I'll go 7-10 split. If you really think you're good enough to win them all, your 7-10 split here is you want Georgia to win this game.
Tennessee still gets in.
Tennessee still gets into the playoffs, and you get a chance to beat – Georgia for the SEC championship and Tennessee for the national
How many
championship.
times you hit a 7-10 split?
Never.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick up.
I'm sure he has.
Yeah.
I mean, he's bowled a bazillion games.
Well, but I mean, the Tennessee wound is fresher. I personally think that's the one you would want if you're an Alabama player. The Tennessee wound is fresher. And, the last year's Georgia game, obviously there was a key injury in that game, but I think you could look back on that game and say, hey, look, we beat Georgia in Atlanta. They came back and beat us in Indianapolis. I thought we played – maybe a couple things go a different way. You look at that Tennessee game and you're like, man, we inflicted a lot of errors on ourselves. Not that Tennessee didn't deserve to win, but we could have played a lot cleaner game. I'd like another shot at that one.
Yeah, what ifs. And you want to play Georgia with all your receivers,
Yeah, but
see,
that's
fans.
gone. You've still got this same team this year. You can clean up all the crap you did wrong and then see if you're good enough to beat Tennessee.
Speaking of Tennessee, after LT tells us about the great folks at Hemphill, we have a middle of the season new NIL deal. In fact, you get it the week of 1 versus 1 in Athens. A very interesting twist here. It's brought to you by our friends at Hemphill.
Brad.
Fred?
I bet there's a Brad that works somewhere in the company.
I was going to say Brown.
What?
Did you call our friends at Hemphill yesterday?
I didn't. It's a long backstory there. May not need them after all.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got me to reach out.
Yeah. I'm sure sending that text killed you, man. I appreciate it.
Adam, Chad, Andrew, the team at Hemphill, the ones I trust to fix it right the first time, always at a fair price for all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs. Trust the name. Birmingham's trusted since 1954. Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090, 205-229-2090.
Weird time to get a NIL deal right in the middle of the old Tennessee Georgia week, 1 versus 1. But Hendon Hooker, Mr. Heisman, got one with Mercedes-Benz of Knoxville. So a nice
Good
little
for him,
NIL
really.
deal for Mr. Mercedes.
What's he driving?
He's I don't know which one, but he's
the G-Wagon.
He's right in the middle.
There's no way they're giving him a G-Wagon.
You don't think
in the
so?
middle
Well, I
with
just
two
don't
owners.
think they have enough.
Yeah.
They don't have enough for
G-Wagons
Well, I
for
think it's
the
just-
quarterback.
No, I think it's hard. The inventory on those, I just think they're really difficult to get.
Yeah, but
But hell, he might have an orange one for all I know.
to clap back at Tennessee. Maybe somebody should send Hendon really quickly. You guys tried to take back the the Dixieland Delight celebration at the end of the game, saying it was a Tennessee song anyway. It should be noted, Mercedes-Benz made right here in Alabama. He's driving an Alabama car.
That's true. If he's driving the SUV, it was made right down the road, essentially in Tuscaloosa.
Essentially with Tuscaloosa workers.
Don't think it bothers him after what he did to Alabama's defense.
Yep.
Yeah, probably should check that brake line real quick before he drives off the lot.
Wow, that way they play the brakes on him.
This one's going to where? Hendon Hooker?
Good for him, man.
Yeah, good for him.
I mean, if you're going to get a NIL deal, go big. He went big.
Real quickly, let's do a New York Butcher stake bet update. Currently, I'm up 1, but this is a big weekend. 2 definitely on the line. Could be impact on several others. Brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher. LT, I'll tell you about them in a second. But on the line, you saw it live on the show, our first dual-off stake bet, where we threw down the total number of points we thought Tennessee would score in this Georgia game. LT and I both like Georgia in this contest to win the game. LT very strategically played 29 blind draw. I was at 28.5. So we both think they'll score around 30 points, 29, 28, 30 points. But I need a lot less points now to win that stake bet. On the flip side of that, back in the summer, I believe it was in June, we made a bet on Clemson at Notre Dame, a game we haven't talked a lot about this week, where Clemson is – the betting line this week is -3.5, but doing it back in the summer, I thought Notre Dame would be average and Clemson would be really good. I gave LT 4.5 points, so we got a little bonus point there for making this bet back in the summer. That is 2 that's definitely on the line this week. In that contest, I get the feeling you think Notre Dame can win this game outright.
Yeah, I do. They're playing better football. They're running the football right now. The Irish have averaged 228 rushing yards over the last 5 games, 13th most in the FBS over that span. Problem is Notre Dame's 0-4 against the number at home this year, including that loss to Marshall. But I think Notre Dame plays good football here.
It does seem like this is a different team than the team that played Marshall.
I would agree.
If Notre Dame wins this game, they are going to have one of the worst losses on their resume and one of the best wins on their resume.
Well, and Clemson's defense has changed. You know, it looked like a dominant defense early on. They gave up 11.5 points per game through the first 2 games. The last 2 games, they've given up almost 25 points per game.
And some of that running the football, which is what was surprising. I didn't think you could run in this Clemson front 7, but Syracuse showed you could.
Yeah. No, I agree. Absolutely, Syracuse did. Now, you know, Syracuse got a really good running back and a really good run game. I just don't know how you – and I'm with you, man. Notre Dame may win this game, but I don't know how the same team can lose to Marshall and Stanford and beat Clemson.
Yeah.
That really makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
It's called Any Given Saturday.
I guess that's what it's called. I don't know what it's called.
New York Butcher Shop Stake Bet Update brought to you by the great folks at New York Butcher.
Yeah, it's a great weekend if you've never tried Jim's product before, or if you've tried it and you know exactly what we're talking about. Stop in the New York Butcher Shop, pick up the finest and certified Angus prime beef steaks, burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, all natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family. They're ready to heat at home. Don't forget the huge deli sandwiches and catering options for your next business lunch meeting with a great selection of fine wines and desserts. The New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations, Cava Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Lunsford confirming that Hooker got the GLE, which is, as Zach says, is the mom SUV on roids. So it's a up version, and it is made in Vans.
Our guys at Exclusive Auto Wholesales put me in one of those for a little bit.
Yeah.
It does look like a mom SUV on the outside, but the inside is the features are as good as you can get.
Yeah, so thank you to Lunsford, who does multiple jobs back there and then still has time to do research for us. Charleston with a good question we'll get to in the next segment. Top of the hour, we will get to the Pick 3 brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Remember, you saw the Ghost logo and the cans and everything flow by moments ago. If you're looking for energy, whether you're watching the games tomorrow and you start starting to doze off in that 11 a.m. window waiting for the good games to really kick in, don't forget to grab a Ghost energy drink. Buy them by the 2-pack, 4-pack, 6-pack, 12-pack, wherever you buy your energy drinks. Ghost energy drinks, they got the ingredients on the label there. You can see how health aware they are, low calorie, great flavors. It's all right there with our friends from Ghost Energy. We're back in a moment.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
This hour of The Next Round is fed by Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. Visit Culver's for all your tailgating needs this football season. From chicken to burgers, find it at Culver's. Welcome to Delicious.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
When you have questions about your urological health, count on the healthcare experts at Urology Centers of Alabama. With 16 locations and a team of specialists across Alabama, you can find help you need from a trusted UCA physician. Get started at UrologyCentersAlabama.com.
After years searching for a classic jacket that was functional in the field and the city, Tom Beckby couldn't find one he liked, so he decided to make his own. Since designing that first jacket in 2015, Tom Beckby has continued to draw inspiration from natural settings to produce classic outdoor equipment with time-tested rugged materials. Visit the brand new Tom Beckby store in Mountain Brook Village, a local business, with the goal of outfitting you for the outdoors here in Alabama and wherever the road takes you. Mountain Brook Village or online, TomBeckby.com. That's Tom, BECKBE.com.
Now is the time to make your kids happy with a playground from Backyard Adventures. Order now and you're still guaranteed a Christmas delivery. Just go to backyardalabama.com. That's backyardalabama.com. On the website, you can see some brand new forts that are available. Plus, the always popular display sale is underway now. Just call 205-408-4FUN. That's 205-408-4386 or go to backyardalabama.com. As always with Backyard Adventures, you get quality 100% cedar with lifetime warranties, and they take care of their customers from start to finish. That means they completely set up the playground. You don't have to do anything. They'll do the landscaping to make it fit into your backyard. They'll do a maintenance program every year for you to keep it looking brand new. And when it's time for the playset to go, they'll come and take it down for you too. Learn about the display sale and see everything you need online at backyardalabama.com or call them up 205-408-4FUN for Backyard Adventures. If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Vulcan Tire and Automotive is hiring. If you want to take advantage of joining in with a local growing company in the automotive service industry, this is the opportunity for you. Hiring oil and tire technicians and more experienced mechanics. If you've got the talent and the desire, there is a spot for you at Vulcan Tire and Auto. Stop by one of their 4 locations and the manager on site can walk you through the pay scale, great benefits, and flexible work schedule. Get paid to build your future in the industry. Moody, Trustful, Hoover, and Gardendale, VulcanTireandAuto.com.
The Next Round store is loaded up for fall. Check out all the new gear, including Next Round hoodies, pullovers, and much more. Go to nextround.store to see all the new fall collection. As the temperatures drop, make sure you have your Next Round hoodie or Next Round pullover. Order now and get free shipping for a limited time. It's all new merch at nextround.store. Make sure you're prepared for fall with all your Next Round fall gear. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
We'll get to the pick 3 at the top of the hour. Charles's question after LT tells us about the fine folks at Simpio.
Yes, our friends at Simpio, Blake and the guys. I'll actually see them later on today. They were the first call we made here on the Next Round because they handle all of the BS in every single office. When your business joins Simpio, they take care of the 4 pillars. compliance, HR, payroll, and benefits, things we knew nothing about. When your company joins Sympio, you gain access to healthcare and employer benefits at prices only large organizations get on average. Sympio saving companies of all sizes and industries over 18% net of their fees. You can join Sympio at any time of year. There's no annual contract. With that being said, they've got a 99% retention rate. Call Blake and the guys today, 205-635-7467 or online, Sympio.com.
Technically, if this is like a television drama or a comedy, in 10, 15 years from now, when we're done or when we sell the product up here, there'll be the last call we make too. First call and last call.
Guys, we're done.
That's the way it is. It's full circle, right? So Sympio, they're that kind of people. Charles asked the question: if Georgia against Tennessee this weekend is a beatdown with Georgia winning, does Tennessee stay in the top 4? My opinion would be they may not stay in the top 4, but they would stay ahead of Alabama.
They would. You got to tell me what happens in Clemson, Notre Dame. That I think that's. I don't think Michigan or Ohio State is losing.
No.
So if Clemson loses, potentially, but I'm with you, they would stay in front of Alabama. I do think if Clemson beats Notre Dame, they would drop below Michigan and outside the top 4.
Yes.
They'd be at number 5 and right in front of Alabama. Alabama would stay 6 if they beat LSU.
But remember, it's a new ranking every week, and when you add the next data point, that shakes up everything from 1 through 25. So it can change wildly sometimes. But Tennessee will still have that Alabama win on their resume, which would resonate.
I've got a feeling. I don't know if it's going to be a beatdown, but I do think Georgia wins this game by double digits. With that said, if they don't, and I'll stick by this, if Georgia loses, they are out.
We were having that discussion last night.
Tennessee can lose, and I still think they get in.
We were having that discussion last night at Bud Light Game Night with one of the owners of Steel Gastropub, who is a big Georgia fan, and he was having that same discussion. He's like, I just don't feel confident that if we lose this game, that we've got a shot at getting back in this thing. And I said, you'll have one good win to hang your hat on, and that's Oregon. And I said, now, if Oregon right now is number 8. If they continue to run it and maybe they contend, I said, but I'd rather have more than just that to hang my hat on.
Yeah, the only way, you're right. I'll back it up a little bit. If Oregon wins the Pac-12 with one loss, and there's a lot of chaos up top, and it comes down to one loss Pac-12 champion Oregon or Georgia with one loss, Georgia's getting that.
A lot of things can power a fan base. Our Alabama powering the fan base moment of the day coming up, not from a Tennessee current player, but a former player, brought to you by our friends at Alabama Power.
I thought he was going to go Ghost Energy.
Do you think Jim made that up on the fly? Or
powering it up. That's awesome.
Got to work these in, man.
Yeah, you somehow managed. Alabama Power giving you more options, ease, and control when paying your power bill. You can use the digital wallet, secure and offering convenient payment methods that you're probably already familiar with. Amazon Pay, Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, and Venmo. All you need is an online account. Visit alabamapower.com/myaccount to get started.
Powering the fan base, not the right one, though. If you're Tennessee, former quarterback turned analyst and broadcaster Eric Ainge tweets this out last night. Lunsford, playing between the hedges is overrated. Not that loud, and definitely not intimidating. It's nothing like playing in Neyland. Vols will be just fine in Athens! Why in the hell would you post something like that if you love the Big Orange?
When Eric Ainge played at Tennessee, he might have been right. I don't know. I mean, those are some pretty good games, Tennessee and Georgia back in those days. I'd have to go back and look at the exact games he played between the hedges.
I heard our man Rick Neuheisel talking about this morning on the way in. And by the way, he escaped pretty...
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit before he left last night from a charity event we were doing. His son's actually playing in the NIT over in Country Club of Birmingham. So that's the reason they're in town. His son's a good player.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know where he was doing the show from, but not only he did his regular show that starts at 8, but he did the 6 a.m. with Dvorak.
Jeez.
And
getting after it.
He was saying that Dusty Dvorak was saying the same thing, that he thinks the Athens atmosphere is overrated.
Well, but if you just go around the SEC real quickly, right? Tiger Stadium, Swamp, Auburn, Neyland Stadium, in no particular order, all greater than Georgia, right?
Yep.
Those 4 are all greater than Georgia.
I think so.
I guess so, yeah.
So, you can...
And A&M, I don't know.
You can start debating after that. I've been to A&M. It is insane. Blackout game in Georgia was pretty crazy.
I mean, it's still one of the most intimidating atmospheres I've ever seen. Yeah. So, I mean,
But
you know how I feel about this. I think this gets way overplayed. I think once it gets so loud and crazy, it's just as loud as it's going to get. I mean, I think there's a certain level where, I mean, if I can't hear it, like if 90,000 people yelling keeps me from being able to hear the snap count, 120,000 yelling's not changing anything. I still can't hear the snap count.
I really do think it is. These two are a lot like Bryant-Denny Stadium and Sanford Stadium crowds, noise, the show they put on, and all that. I think those two are a lot alike. It would be the tier right below the insanity of the other four places.
You know, I would have liked to have seen Tennessee. You know, what they did to LSU on the road was impressive, but that was an 11 o'clock game.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Would love to have seen that at night.
Yeah, so they haven't seen an atmosphere like this yet.
So we'll see what the atmosphere is like. Eric Ainge powering the Georgia fan base maybe to get there and get loud this weekend. Our friends with the Birmingham Squadron getting ready to open up the season. What is today, November 4th?
That is today, Jim.
So Sunday is the season opener. How about that? You get a chance to go hang out with a little G League basketball with our professional basketball team right here on November the 6th. This Sunday, Lakeland Magic in town as the Squadron look to battle back to the playoffs. It's they hosted a first-round game last year in the playoffs. They hope to get back there and do better. They just released a roster. On the roster, you get John Petty of Alabama, UAB alum Jordan Swing is there, and other great guys like Javonte Smart. You know him from his SEC days. He's on the roster as well. You can get tickets to opening night in any regular season game through our friends at Ticketmaster. Just go there and click on the Squadron games, or you can get any of the premium seats, the suites, the food packages, the group packages by calling the Squadron straight up, 205-719-0850. That is 205-719-0850. Remember, with the Squadron, it is great to take little church groups, youth basketball teams, whatever you want to do. It's a great outing for the group, the family, or friends. It's the Squadron, 205-719-0850 for tickets starting Sunday with the season opener down there at Legacy Arena. When we come back, we'll jump into the pick three, and Andy Staples joins the next round.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
This hour of the Next Round is fed by Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. Visit Culver's for all your tailgating needs this football season. From chicken to burgers, find it at Culver's. Welcome to Delicious.
Done building your family? A vasectomy is a safe, simple, effective option for birth control. When it was my time to take the snip, I used my friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, and there's no better time for a vasectomy. It's a great reason to be off your feet and be on the couch during the game with the wife's approval. It's a quick, in-office procedure covered by most insurances. Urology Centers of Alabama, 16 convenient locations. Call 205-922-SNP. That's 205-922-7647.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. For more than 40 years, Red Wing Shoes has been helping the hardworking people of Alabama. This is why Red Wing Shoes has created the 3-step comfort solution. Step 1, a certified fit specialist will use a 3D scan to electronically measure your feet and arches. Step 2, the fit specialist helps you get the appropriate footwear for your occupation. Step 3, customize your boot or shoe with a Red Wing orthotic. Whether you have a high arch or flat feet, Red Wing has comfort solutions for you. So experience comfort at its best. Visit one of the Red Wing Shoe stores located in Pelham or Trussville. When it's time to move, there's one name to remember: Crocker Moving Services, for all your moving needs, both residential and commercial, and they'll even pack for you. See all they offer at crockermovingservices.com. Owner Eric Crocker is a Marine, a Birmingham native, and a veteran of the Iraq War. Crocker Moving Services will use made-in-the-USA equipment, made-in-the-USA supplies, and veteran-operated whenever possible. And they'll move you anywhere in the continental United States. Check them out online right now, crockermovingservices.com. Start your day online at nextroundlive.com. Get all the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. And it's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hi, I'm Lionel Richie, and I have traveled all over the world, but I consider Tuskegee, Alabama as my home sweet home. I have such a pride in this state, and I know that there's something I need to tell you that's of great importance. Vote. Register to vote and get your voter ID today. It really is easy. Easy like Sunday morning.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and our entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast like Bama and Bourbon, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Stay up to date with the Next Round at nextroundlive.com. The latest videos from the show, plus podcasts like the Mystery Fifth Hour, Bama and Bourbon, Last Call, and others from the Double Down Media podcast family. You can start your day with the latest college football stories, plus easy to listen to hour-by-hour downloads of the live show. NextRoundLive.com, a great way to stream the show live or shop in the Next Round store. Make NextRoundLive.com your homepage. That's NextRoundLive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Headlines this hour and a poll question brought to you by our friends at Cowan Equipment. LT will tell you about Cowan in just a second. But last night, Coastal Carolina, a winner over Appalachian State. They now control their own destiny in the Sun Belt East with that big win there over App State. Also last night in the NFL, the Eagles 8-0 for the first time in franchise history. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles with a big win down in Houston. Nice tribute from Devontae Smith. Before the game in a T-shirt honoring John Mechie, former teammate who is recovering and battling leukemia as he makes his way back to the NFL, and things going well with him. And we were awesome to see Devontae reaching out to his teammate with that T-shirt last night. World Series last evening, you had the Phillies finally breaking a 20 straight batter hitless streak with runners in scoring position. They finally got a key hit late, but not enough, as the Astros beat them 3-2. So the Astros lead that series 3-2. Day off today. They'll do Game 6 tomorrow. And big football tonight, including Oregon State and Washington, 9:30 on ESPN2. 2 6-2 teams. Those are the headlines brought to you by our friends at Cowan Equipment.
Hey, if you're having a hard time finding that new plastic on the seat piece of heavy equipment, check out Cowan Equipment's rental fleet hit list for a wide range of well-maintained equipment from our rental fleet for sale now. Visit cowan.com/featured used equipment or call 800-239-COWAN for more information.
We ask you who you got straight up this weekend. 51% Georgia, 51.8. So 52% Georgia, 48% Tennessee.
That's pretty close.
That's pretty tight in the Vegas line. And I know you think Georgia wins this game.
Yep.
I don't know if you think they cover or not. The Vegas line opened. Now, there's been some debate on this. I see on Scores and Odds 12.5. Is that what everybody's going with, that it opened at 12.5?
See, I never saw that.
Scores and Odds, do you trust them?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they've got it at. So
it opened at 12.5 and got bet down really quickly.
It's bet down to 8.5. That's a significant move for a Vegas line in a game of this magnitude.
Yeah, I would assume, though, the sharps are probably all over Georgia and all the public money.
Well, that's what I've read, and the line movement would indicate that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've read that like 95% of the public money is on Tennessee. So a lot of people love Tennessee catching double-digit points.
And we talked about the get-in price. If I wanted a good seat, our friends at ATIX was letting you know about just tickets. I don't like to sit in the upper deck. If it comes down to me being upper deck or watching at home. I usually choose
Yeah,
at home,
I would
right?
agree with you.
So if I'm going to be in the lower bowl anywhere, what's the get-in price for a ticket for this game?
I mean, just to get in lower bowl, probably end zones, corners. They're telling me $1,000 at least.
$1,000 a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big ticket in Athens, Georgia. Considering you've got a fan base that's been eating off the grade 8 stuff lately.
But Steve said the quote was emotional and effort purchases going on right now. Which, if I'm a Tennessee fan,
if I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm all in.
If I'm a ticket broker, I like those.
Because this is the biggest game Tennessee's had in 20 years.
Yeah,
so,
I'm saving my money for this game, SEC championship, and playoffs.
My wife actually asked this question. It was asked in the chat room much earlier in the show. And my wife and I went to lunch. I can't remember what day it was after the show. I think Tuesday. Wow, thank you, Lance. How do you remember that?
Well, there's only 4 days it could have been.
And I wasn't dressed
I know you didn't yesterday.
I wasn't dressed as Maverick, so yeah, you're right. It was Tuesday. and we're sitting there, and one of the TVs in the restaurant was talking. It was on ESPN, and they were talking about Tennessee, Georgia, and it being 1 versus. I think they were talking about how it's 1 versus 1 or something like that. Anyway. And my wife made the great point. She's like, my goodness, when's the last time the biggest game in the SEC hasn't involved Alabama?
Oh, good point.
Somebody asked that in the chat room earlier. And
good point, Jen Brown.
Yeah, and, I would say if you did regular season, I don't know how far back you'd have to go. I would say 2019 SEC Championship was LSU and Georgia, so that's probably the one you would land on there. But in the regular season, I don't know. I don't know the last time you would say the obvious biggest game in the SEC season did not involve Alabama. And look, I know that Alabama-Tennessee game was just a peg under this one.
Could it go back to 2016 Georgia-Auburn?
You know when it was probably I think that's 2017 Georgia-Auburn is the one you're thinking of.
Is that right?
Yeah, 2017.
Is that when Georgia was number one?
We beat the dog crap out of them is what Gus said in midfield. That game?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess that Iron Bowl, the next week or 2 weeks later was bigger.
Yeah,
but at the time
that was the one
yeah.
that Gus allegedly told Kirby after the game when Gus said, "I'll see you in Atlanta," and Kirby said, "I'll tell Nick you said that," and he said, "Go ahead."
Allegedly, yeah. Well, he did definitely say we kicked dog crap at him. How would he say that, Rockstar? We kicked the dog crap at him, didn't we?
Oh, we all kicked dog crap out of him. Who?
Guys, were you listening?
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't, obviously. I mean, what imitation was that?
I don't know.
Somebody from Hee-Haw.
Well, we're going to go to kick the dog crap out of him.
Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. Yes, it was much
fun.
Were you doing Stan?
Yeah.
No, gee golly willikers, I wasn't.
If you ever wonder if Rockstar listens to all 4 hours.
I knew he didn't. I thought he was listening right now. He's dying right now.
He's back there pounding Ludens.
Are you on WebMD or watching somebody else's show?
No, I'm trying. You're interrupting. I'm on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. No.
Anyway, so, I mean.
How's the, White Lotus? How's White Lotus episode 2?
Still haven't seen that one either.
Anyway, I mean, it's been a minute. It has been a minute since there has been an obvious biggest game of the season in the SEC that did involve Alabama, but that's where we are, and it's a credit to Josh Heupel in Tennessee for getting his team there. Because Georgia's been there. Heupel has done it for Tennessee.
Looking forward to talking about the Pick 3 here in just a second. Your phone call is always welcome, 205-734-0923, 205-734-0923. We'll work those in. And also remind you that our friends at Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila always like to tell you, ask for it by name wherever you're ordering tequila. It is the Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila. I think if you just say Diamante, they'll give you that tequila, right?
Yeah.
See, do you have the Diamante tequila? And they'll let you know. And you'll know you're in a good place if they've got the Maestro Dobel Diamante tequila, the world's first clear multi-aged tequila right there. It's a blend of several tequilas aged in the European oak barrel, double filtered to remove the color while producing a crystal clear spirit of character and smoothness. Crystal and clear in appearance, smooth and crisp on the finish. Maestro Dobel, the perfect tequila for sipping or mixing. Let's hit the phones.
James is in Georgia, the Peach State. What's up, James? How are you?
Hey, guys. Happy Friday. I had a question as it pertains. I mean, there's so many questions pertaining to the playoff committee and kind of the way that they view things. But whenever you hear about what's wrong with Georgia, and rightfully so, that Missouri game was terrible. A bad win by certain measures. But when you look at Pittsburgh, who that way back when Tennessee beat them in overtime, Pittsburgh's now 4-4, so they have the same record as Missouri in a weaker conference, and they easily have the worst loss out of the two teams at home to Georgia Tech when Keaton Slovis was playing the whole game. So, how much do you think that weighs into it? Into each week, things change. I mean, and that's not to say that it couldn't change more. I mean, Pittsburgh might end the season 8-4, as a ranked team. But it kind of chuckles when I hear that, because Tennessee having 5 wins against ranked teams, Pittsburgh doesn't count. I mean, Florida, you could say perhaps counts. So just a question.
James, let me explain to you first. As a defending national champion, we've had the experience in this state of seeing this several times.
Oh my gosh!
Here's what happens. You're being judged to perfection is what's happening. So Georgia doing a normal human thing of not having their best game, their one flat dud game in Columbia, Missouri, on the road in the SEC. People are going to continue to throw that up at you all season long. But when you beat Tennessee on Saturday, if that happens, it'll be the best win of anybody's resume at that point. You'll be number 1 in the country, and it'll be just like Alabama all the years when Alabama was questioned, and then they would get a big win, and then they would be number 1, and nobody would question you anymore. You've got the crown, and people come for the king all the time. They're going to try to find a crack to knock you guys down. As long as you win, you'll be fine. It's no worries. You'll be number 1 when you get there, when it's all said and done, if you don't lose a game.
It is funny, though, how we give Tennessee a pass for that Pitt game. We don't give Georgia a pass for the Missouri game, and Missouri and Pitt are the same team.
Because we expect Georgia to be perfect.
Missouri and Pitt are the same team. I think
I don't disagree this year. I think, though, we still reflect back that ACC 11-win Kenny Pickett Pitt.
Right.
I think the perception is different.
I do think it's a different perception, but it's a false perception. I mean, they're the same team. Neither one of them are any good, and Tennessee had to go to overtime. Georgia narrowly avoided overtime.
In fact, neutral field, I think I would take Missouri to beat them. Missouri's defense is actually a really good defense.
Yeah,
it is a good defense.
I don't know who I would take. I wouldn't really want to watch the games right now. It's two pretty bad teams. But ultimately what it boils down to is Tennessee beat Alabama. And that Alabama win carries a lot of weight in that room for the same thing Lance just talked about and you just talked about, is Alabama is held to a very high standard in that room. They've earned that.
That's right.
And when you beat Alabama, that goes a long way in that room, obviously.
Yep. And Georgia is being held to a high standard too.
And
it was a dud game for them. It's a dud game for them. They did not play even to what we expect Georgia to play to in this state. If he's looking across the border expecting Alabama folks to think Georgia's somehow different than they were last year, they're not as talented as they were last year, but that's still a national championship roster.
Also, don't forget, right now in that room, Tennessee has a road top 10 win and a home top 10 win. I don't know how many teams can say that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, LSU is overrated in my opinion.
But they're still top 10 in that room.
We'll see tomorrow night if that ends up being the case. Let's do the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3. You can go play right now, nextroundlive.com. If you've never played, it doesn't matter. It's not a season-long game. Well, it's a season-long game, but we don't keep a running total. You only have to play once and go 3-0 once to get into the championship for all the great prizes. Go on to nextroundlive.com, hit the Buffalo Wild Wings icon, and then pick one of the series of 3 games there. Play those 3 games, go 3-0, and you're into the championship round, which is coming up week 13. We always started off with this song right here.
Pick 3, it's time for the pick 3. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
And our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings, 12 great locations throughout the Birmingham, Central Alabama area, including new locations in Chelsea and Oxford. 20 years in the market, serving up the absolute best sports atmosphere and wings around. The place to be for football Saturdays and Sundays, Buffalo Wild Wings. And also don't forget about takeout available all weekend long through that Buffalo Wild Wings app.
Okay, in the LT pool is where you get the Tennessee-Georgia game. We're playing at Georgia minus 8.5. We've talked a lot about that on the show today. UCF minus 3.5 on the road at Memphis. Scary game for Gus coming down. They lost on the road at East Carolina. They get their biggest win since Gus has been at UCF last week against Cincinnati. They got to come back down and play a nasty hatred rivalry game in that league on the road at Memphis this week.
Yeah, and I think Plumlee is going to be 100%, from what I'm hearing. So he should start. The interesting thing here, Memphis 6 straight covers as a home dog, which they are getting 3.5 here. But in 15 games these two have played, do you know what the record is?
15?
Yeah.
I'm going to go 7 and 8.
I'm going to go 8 and 7 in favor of UCF. No, 8 and 7 in favor of Memphis.
UCF 14 and 1.
Woo! So they
Shut
have
the
owned
door.
this one. Wow.
There's no way.
They have owned
That's
this series.
surprising, man.
Yeah, 14 and 1.
There's no way.
I'm telling you.
I thought it would be 50-50.
No.
I did too, obviously.
Yeah, that is
14
crazy,
and 1. So
crazy
this
stat.
this is one of those, can you get over the mental hurdle of UCF being across? I think UCF's a better team. I lean Memphis in this game.
I like Memphis too.
Yeah.
Kentucky -1.5 against Missouri is the other game in LT's pool there. By the way, yesterday actually, Missouri's defensive coordinator, Blake Baker, got a contract extension here in the middle of the season. That's how good Missouri's defense has been, extended through 2025. So not only does it get 2023, 24, and 25 money there at Missouri.
That could be important too. I mean, I don't know that Eli Drinkwitz is or is not on the hot seat. This has been a
I don't think he is.
Underwhelming team. He probably is off of it right now.
Yeah, trending in a good direction here at the end, looking pretty good.
Yeah, trending in a getting off the hot seat direction. But he's probably right back on it next year. This is a yucky, ugly game here. You've got a team that plays ugly by nature in Missouri. They're just not great offensively. And then you've got Kentucky who likes to make it ugly. I think a very low-scoring game.
Oh, yeah. So and Dunaway's right about this defense. Georgia's the number 1 defense. I assume Alabama's number 2 in the SEC right now.
I assume.
And number 3 is Missouri, only giving up 311 yards per game. So Will Levis coming off that awful game, you wonder where his confidence is. He could have another stinker against Missouri.
It's number 3 and number 4, Missouri and Kentucky, to your point there. 310 a game, 311 a game.
Yep. Okay. The other pools of some interest. In my pool, the Dunaway pool there, you can play Alabama -13.5 on the road at LSU. We've talked some about this game this week, not as much really as we've talked about Tennessee and Georgia. In this game, you heard Bryce Young practicing a little bit more this week. A lot of people believe he's as close to 100% as he's been since that injury. That's good news. Weather apparently not going to be a problem again, according to the 7-day forecast from Ryan Brown Span over here. So your thoughts on Bama going to Baton Rouge?
Well, they've been favored in 15 straight against LSU, which is really hard to believe when you think about this rivalry. They're 12-3 straight up in those games. And since 2011, that national championship game, they're 10-1 straight up against LSU. The only loss in 2019, which is pretty crazy. We know Alabama's offense is really good with Bryce Young. I didn't realize this. They're averaging 6 yards per carry. That's the most Nick Saban has ever had at Alabama.
That seems impossible.
It really does
seem impossible.
Yeah. 6 yards per carry. That would be the highest average per carry in the Nick Saban tenure.
I mean,
but I'm told they're not running the ball.
I know.
I
It's so
know.
weird.
But look at the stats.
What do you think their best rush offense was, Dunaway? I've got them right
And
in
I'm
front
just saying everybody's averaging 6, 7, 8 yards a carry.
On Alabama's team.
Yeah.
In 2022.
In 2022, they're averaging 6 yards a rush.
I mean,
do you guys feel crazy? I
Pull
feel
it real
like
quick,
they can't
Brandon.
run.
No, I'm looking at it. I can't. I'm digging through the Saban era right here, and I can't find a year.
But like Patrick says, how can you run the ball 27 times for 29 yards and still have those stats?
It really makes no sense.
I'm just telling you right now, and I will give you the guys right now for Alabama and their yards per carry, and it's going to blow you away because I think there's only one that's averaging less than 5 yards per carry. So right now, at your leading rusher is Gibbs. He's averaging 6.9. Jace McClellan, 5.8. Jalen Milroe, 8.4. Roydell Williams, 4.7.
Lance is right.
Marion Miller, 7.3. Bryce Young, 5.3. Trey Sanders, 5.5. Jonathan Bennett, 6.0.
So basically that's run, no gain, run, no gain, run, no gain, run for 71 yards.
280 attempts, 1,686 yards. It comes out to an even 6 yards per carry.
No, he's right. I mean, I've looked back at the whole Saban era right here, and there's not another year where they've averaged 6 or more yards per carry. In fact, if you just look at rush yards per game, you think, well, Alabama throws it a lot more than they used to, which they do. Really only 2016, which was Derrick Henry, 245 rush yards per game, but still only averaged 5.75 a carry. Now, they had 33 rush TDs.
Over in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room, Paul and Kevin are both right. It is a distorted stat because of Jahmyr Gibbs has a 76-yarder. Jace has an 81-yarder. Jalen Milroe has a 77-yarder. Bryce has a 63-yarder.
There have been some home run balls, but you don't think Derrick Henry had some long runs?
Oh, he absolutely
Or Trent Richardson had some long runs?
He did, absolutely. Also in that pool, you get North Carolina 7.5 at Virginia. Drake May is so good, and Maryland and Wisconsin. Wisconsin minus 4.5 at home in jump around. But Maryland coming back, maybe Tungavaloa back in that game, maybe a healthier Maryland team. That one could be interesting. In the Brown bracket, we talked about Clemson and Notre Dame. Clemson minus 3.5 in South Bend. Also there, Florida and Texas A&M, where Texas A&M is favored at home, minus 3.5. Florida and Texas A&M are two programs that really expect more than what they're getting this year. In that game, what are you looking at?
I think A&M maybe has finally stumbled into the right quarterback with Connor Wegman. We'll see against Florida. I think he played well enough for them to beat Ole Miss. They just couldn't stop the run, and Florida is not going to be able to run it the way Ole Miss did.
Well, I mean, Anthony Richardson and ETN, I mean, they might have some opportunities.
I don't know if they'll get 300-some-odd yards.
I don't think so either. You know what's crazy is A&M fans believed this was the year. We're going to Atlanta for the first time. We're going to get to a college football playoff. We're sitting here November 4th. They've got to win 3 of their final 4 games to get bowl eligible.
Yeah, again, the loser of this game comes out 1-5 in the conference.
That is hard to believe. Philip says, back to the Alabama thing, just proves to me that we should never give up on the run with all the drops at wide receiver we've had this year. Run game can bust one open at any time. Keep running the damn ball.
You kind of hate to take it out of Bryce Young's hands, though. He's your best player.
That's a good point. That's probably why they've been that way.
It is weird going back to that final possession against Tennessee, where they have 3 consecutive passes, and I know that's by far the best player on the field, but
still,
they're averaging 6 yards a carry.
Andy Staples in the next segment. We'll get to Andy here. This is the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3. Go play right now at nextroundlive.com. Tell us about B-Dubs.
Yeah, again, 12 locations to serve you throughout Birmingham, including those new locations in Chelsea and Oxford. The place to be for football Saturdays and Sundays is Buffalo Wild Wings, and don't forget about that takeout available through the Buffalo Wild Wings app all weekend long.
And if you want to play those games in real life with real money, our friends at MyBookie can help you wherever it's legal in your state.
MyBookie.ag, promo code NEXTROUND. MyBookie.ag, promo code NEXTROUND. They match your initial deposit up to $1,000 when you sign up with promo code NEXTROUND. You can bet on the NFL, college. You play the money bag, one-of-a-kind opportunity to spend for crazy odds on props and futures. Place your bets, spin the wheel, get ready to score epic odds. Best teams, athletes, and events right there at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Call the Next Round now at 205-734-0923.
Don't let a roof problem disrupt your football Saturday or Sunday. Call Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Locally owned at 205-542-3531. Greg wants to give you a free, no-cost inspection. Free, no cost, no obligation, 205-542-3531. He can also pressure wash your metal roofing. It's easy to see why his company's so successful. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, and insurance companies trust him. You should too. 205-542-3531, or just look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City.
This is your home. You want a brighter future and a community that's united by action and commitment. And united starts with you. We are United Way. And for almost 100 years, we have served people from all walks of life. That's our united commitment. United starts with you. Give to United Way of Central Alabama.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
ERA King Real Estate is on the move. They've just opened a new state-of-the-art office in Homewood, as well as new offices in Vestavia and Huntsville. The real estate market has never been crazier than it is right now. That's why, with 52 years of experience, ERA King Real Estate is growing to serve you. To find out more, text the word MOVE to 35620. That's MOVE, M-O-V-E, to 35620. ERA King Real Estate, growing to serve you.
Whether you're a weekend athlete or sports is your life, Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics wants to help you stay in the game. If you have an injury or pain that says something's not right, let Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics help you make your greatest comeback. From concussions to sprained ankles, our experienced team is ready with treatment options. Find a doctor at precisionsportsortho.com/providers.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Now is the time to make your kids happy with a playground from Backyard Adventures. Order now and you're still guaranteed a Christmas delivery. Just go to backyardalabama.com. That's backyardalabama.com. On the website, you can see some brand new forts that are available. Plus, the always popular display sale is underway now. Just call 205-408-4FUN. That's 205-408-4386 or go to backyardalabama.com. As always with Backyard Adventures, you get quality 100% cedar with lifetime warranties, and they take care of their customers from start to finish. That means they completely set up the playground. You don't have to do anything. They'll do the landscaping to make it fit into your backyard. They'll do a maintenance program every year for you to keep it looking brand new. And when it's time for the playset to go, they'll come and take it down for you too. Learn about the display sale and see everything you need online at backyardalabama.com or call them up 205-408-4FUN for Backyard Adventures.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At nextround.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting nextround.store.
Our friends at Pro Football Focus, #1 rating while under pressure this year at quarterback. Here's a hint.
Not Will Levis.
Here's a hint. At one point, we had an NIL deal with him last year.
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix,
How about that?
85.7. #1 in the country, according to PFF.
Draft him first. We're going to the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline for our man Andy Staples of The Athletic. A reminder, they are cleaning out the 2022s at Johnston RV to make room for the 23s. Means you save the luxurious Sahara and Cardinal and many others up to $36,000 off on the remaining models of the closeout there. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, always online. JohnstonRVCenter.com. Andy Staples is with us now. What is up, Andy? How are you today?
How are we doing, guys?
Doing
Fantastic.
awesome. I mean, that is what Dunaway was mentioning as we went to you there. A pretty incredible turnaround to go from what we saw at Auburn to what we've seen for Bo Nix at Oregon.
It is amazing, and he looks great this year. And, you know, some of it may have to do with not having to play the same kind of defenses he played at Auburn. But a lot of it may also have to do with being with an offensive coordinator he's comfortable with in Kenny Dillingham, and, you know, being in a situation where he's probably got a little more weaponry around him at receiver. And I'm glad to see it because, you know, he went through the ringer at Auburn, and I think this is a good way to kind of cap off a college career.
Speaking of Auburn, I mean, I know there's a great slate of games this weekend, but obviously they fired Harsin on Monday. If you had to give us your most realistic candidate that would take this job, who do you think that is?
My question is whether Lane Kiffin would take it, because I think in terms of flipping the roster, in terms of understanding the league, in terms of all that other stuff, he fits great. But if you're him, do you take that on the chance that the ceiling is higher and you might have a better chance of competing for a national title? Or do you squeeze another $1 million a year out of Ole Miss and win a bunch of games at Ole Miss, and maybe you still wind up competing for a national title? That's the thing that intrigues me the most about that part of it, because he is on a surface feels like the right guy. And I just don't know if you'd be willing to leave Ole Miss. If it were a little bit different situation, like, he's got it really good at Ole Miss, but I do think he'd be a very, very good candidate for Auburn.
Tennessee, Georgia this weekend, and one of those matchups that you just dream of in a regular season. I don't know if we saw it being this, well, we didn't see it being this big a game. At least I didn't going into it. This offense against the Kirby Smart defense, what do you like most about this game, and do you have a feel of how you think it'll play out?
I think it's probably going to be a high-scoring one. I think Georgia's going to be able to score on Tennessee's defense as well. But, I'm not of the mind that somebody's going to just come along and shut down this Tennessee offense. I don't think there's a 17-point game in there. And maybe, you guys will be clipping this and sending it to Old Takes Exposed come Saturday. But I just feel like they have so much going on in that offense. There's so many weapons, and you're going to see more of Cedric Tillman. He was kind of on a pitch count last week, but they can run the ball. Jalen Hyatt seems to be a matchup nightmare because of the way they move him around and make him tough to – you can't just put one guy on him and have him follow him, because it would mess up your entire defense. So I think they're going to be able to score too. And really it's going to come down to who makes fewer mistakes, who cashes in. If you do get stopped, do you make your field goals, that sort of thing. That's how you're going to win this game.
Andy Staples is with us of The Athletic. You can follow him on Twitter at Andy_Staples. Download his podcast, The Andy Staples Show, wherever you get our podcast. His is available as well at Andy_Staples on Twitter. And read his stuff at The Athletic. He is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You played the game. You know the game. You follow the game. How helpful is it to Kirby Smart, who approaches things from the same way that Nick Saban does? They're cut from the same cloth defensively, to have seen that system and that kind of defensive philosophy get shredded by Tennessee and see what doesn't work against them?
It is helpful to know what they can do, like what their first idea is against you and what works against you, so you can kind of shore that up. But the problem is you don't want to get too far away from your own identity, because that identity has been very good for Georgia.
Yeah.
So you don't want to come in having to do something completely different, because that's also going to be a risk, because you don't know how your players are going to deal with that. So you want to be able to beat them by being who you are. But yeah, you saw against Alabama, and it's a very similar defense. They made the Alabama defensive backs look they were stuck in mud. I mean, nobody's ever done that. I guess LSU did that in 2019, but you don't see that very often. And so I think that's the part that I'd be worried about if I were Kirby Smart, because, Alabama couldn't get to Hendon Hooker at all. Georgia, not really as great of a pass rush team as Alabama is, but maybe a little bit better on the back end. So the question is, can you diagnose what they're going to do with Jalen Hyatt, where he's going to be from play to play, and don't have situations where you have a safety matched up on him 15 yards away from him, and he's just going to run a go route and you can't do anything about that. And that's the problem. DeMarco Hellams was on him on one of those long touchdowns against Alabama. DeMarco Hellams is going to be maybe a first-round draft pick, but he had no chance against Jalen Hyatt. Kentucky had a linebacker on him on the first touchdown he scored last week. And it's not because these defensive coordinators are dumb or they don't know what they're doing. It's because Tennessee does so many different things that your defense gets crossed up, and you wind up with a mismatch and you're screwed.
Andy Staples, who writes with The Athletic, and I think I've been a subscriber since almost day one of The Athletic, and I heard this song for the first time driving in traffic out of my parking deck in Neyland Stadium. I will occasionally stumble across country music radio more than these guys do. Megan Moroney's song, and you wrote a story yesterday about Megan Moroney's song, the timing of that. There's another song that's out there. There's no way they knew Tennessee was going to have this kind of year, but it has timed out perfectly. For our audience, share with us what you wrote about yesterday.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So there's a country artist named Megan Moroney. She is a Georgia grad. She has a marketing degree from Georgia, but she wrote a song about falling in love with a Tennessee fan. And the song is called Tennessee Orange, and it's basically telling her mom and dad, hey, you may think it's a sin in Georgia, but I will wear Tennessee orange for him. Of course, at the end of the song, it says, I still want the dogs to win. But it's a great song, and she's had a lot of fun with it. I interviewed her on my podcast, and she's like, yeah, I'll wear Tennessee orange, but I am a Georgia grad. I'll never wear Florida orange. So I did appreciate her sticking to her guns on that one. But at the same time, and that world that singer-songwriter country world in Nashville is pretty small. So there's a guy named Connor Smith who grew up a Tennessee fan. He grew up in Nashville. Parents had season tickets to Neyland Stadium, the whole deal. He has a song called Orange and White. They wrote these songs within a week of each other over the summer. And they wanted to both have them for football season. And no, neither of them had any clue that this was going to happen. But Orange and White is about a Tennessee fan who meets a Georgia girl at the Tennessee-Georgia game in Knoxville, and they fall in love. And now she's wearing orange and white. She's singing Rocky Top, stealing his Bill Dance hat. Like it is catnip for SEC fans because they're looking at this like, I get all of these references. So it is it's really funny. And we were, Connor, when I met him in Knoxville last week, when he first saw an Instagram clip as she was workshopping her song, she put out a little clip for just her and her guitar singing it. He texted her. He's like, how did we write the same song at the same time? And then the songs are not about the others. They're not dating or anything like that. So it is just a very happy coincidence that you have the house divided license plate set to music.
I just Google image Megan Maroney. I mean, she could have found a dude with a Georgia shirt. I'll just go ahead and say that. I don't think it's going to be
I believe she could have found a member of any SEC, Big Ten, ACC, Big 12 fan base if she wanted to.
Don't think it'd been too tough. No.
So the other big game in the SEC, Tiger Stadium, Alabama, LSU. Alabama's won 10 of the last 11, the one loss being 2019 to LSU. This has been a great story. Brian Kelly's first year got him in the college football rankings in the top 10. Does it stop here, though? Do you think Jaden Daniels in this LSU offense has anything for Alabama?
It should stop here. But the thing I wonder about, because I do think what we've seen offensively from them their last two games is more a function of Florida's defense not being very good and Ole Miss's defense not being particularly great. I think Alabama will be able to do kind of more what Tennessee did, where you make them look one-dimensional, make Jaden Daniels beat you with his arm. But I kind of wonder, and because all these guys are new, Jaden Daniels is new to all of his receivers because he came in this year. Mike Denbrock, the play caller, is new. He came in with Brian Kelly. All of the other players are new to Jaden Daniels and Mike Denbrock. Could having some success against Florida and Ole Miss kind of unlock, hey, here's how we should use each other. Here's how we can best work together. And that's what I wonder. Are they a better offense now than they were before they went into the Florida game? And I think the answer to that is yes. I just don't know that they're good enough to beat Alabama.
Do you think by the time we get to the end, Ohio State and Michigan will surpass what we have this week with Tennessee and Georgia as the biggest regular season game by the end of the year? Do you think that'll be unbeaten and we'll have that kind of hype even bigger than what we got this week?
We're all prisoners of the moment, so sure. Yeah, it'll be huge hype. And here's the thing, though. If you had to say which of these games is more likely to have two playoff teams in it, I'd say it's this one. Well, let's say they both got a shot.
So really, you think better chance Tennessee, Georgia can get in over Ohio State and Michigan? I like that.
Well, I both of them.
Yeah,
one of them from each game is going to get in.
Right,
so
right.
That's that. Yeah. Now I will say if Tennessee wins this one, now I don't want to trigger any Vols fans because I'm sure they all remember 2016 where they beat Florida and Georgia and then lost to South Carolina and Vanderbilt. So we're going to assume here, and I'm sorry, and I know what that means, but let's say Tennessee beats Georgia and then assume they went out. They beat Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Missouri. They're in. Unless they get beat 100-0 in the SEC championship game, they're in the playoff. Right. They're in the same position Georgia was last year. They are in because they beat Alabama and they beat LSU already. And Georgia doesn't have that luxury because Auburn wasn't good. Mississippi State's pretty good, but it's not the same level as Alabama and LSU at this point. So Georgia doesn't have the luxury of, if we're 12-0, we can lose the SEC championship game and we're just fine. Now, maybe they might still get in, but probably not. So it's actually more important for Georgia to win this one.
I agree.
Yeah. He is Andy Staples. You can find him on Twitter at Andy_Staples. Read the piece Jim mentioned and everything else he does at The Athletic. Hear him on Sirius XM Radio and the Andy Staples Show podcast. Talks a ton of college football and food and entertaining stuff. You find it wherever you get our podcast, the Andy Staples Show. Andy, thank you very much for your time and enjoy the weekend.
Thank you, guys. I cannot wait.
It's going to be fun. I agree. See you, buddy. Andy Staples with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Good music, too, that he was writing about. A couple of really interesting love songs there. You can read that story at The Athletic and all that other stuff. The show being brought to you in part by Greg Nelson, Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City, one of the most respected roofing contractors from Knoxville to Athens. Right here in Central Alabama is where he does his work. But everybody knows the name Greg from Pell City. That's because he's so trusted, does such a great job. He's got workers on roofs right now. Greg himself gets on the roof for you. He'll give you a free, no-cost roof inspection. All you have to do is call him up, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. He'll do that roof inspection, free, no-cost roof inspection. After that, anything that goes on with your roof, Greg Nelson can take care of it. He and his team can make it happen. That includes even pressure washing a metal roof. Whatever you need done to protect your house, your biggest investment, Greg from Pell City can do it. You can also look him up on Facebook. Contact him that way if that's better for you. Greg from Pell City, Storm Restoration Roofing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, best warranties in the business, and insurance companies trust him. That gives you a better chance of getting a yes there from those folks. Greg Nelson, Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531. As we continue the conversation about football and the college football games happening this weekend, the rankings that came out, if you're looking at those top 4, 5, 6, 7 teams, is there one team to you that really looks, Tennessee wins, they're automatically in. But do you look at Tennessee and say that team has no flaws?
Oh, not at all. Their pass defense is
still bad.
It's been torched by just about every decent quarterback they've played.
And there was a time we were building Ohio State up as maybe the team with no flaws. But, when you watch them play, even Penn State, even though that game at the end got out of hand for Penn State for about 3.5 quarters, they look flawed as well. That Ohio State team has flaws as well.
Yeah, here's what I would say about Ohio State. The defense is much improved, and I don't think the flaw would be on that side. The last couple of weeks, it's been the offense that hasn't looked good. And again, they've still put up 98 points over the last couple of weeks.
But C.J. Stroud has not looked
he hasn't.
Like the Heisman Trophy winner.
He hasn't, but this is a get-well game.
You're playing at Northwestern.
Yeah, Northwestern, you're a 5-touchdown favorite. They should be able to go out and scorch them and get everything back on track, maybe get some rhythm. And they've got to get healthy. I mean, it's like, Williams is out now. Henderson's back in. Henderson was out. Williams was in. We're not going to see the best receiver in college football. It doesn't look like the rest of the year.
It looks like his replacement's the best receiver in college football.
Yeah, I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. has been really good.
I mean, seriously, it's like they lost what we thought was the best receiver in college football, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like the best receiver in college football.
And like last year at the Rose Bowl, we thought the best receivers in college football were sitting out, and the new guys who came in looked like the best receivers in college football.
It's wild. I hate it we're not going to see Jackson Smith and Jigba. Seeing those two on the field at the same time, that offense,
not fair.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, we may only see them in the playoffs when nobody wants to see those players on the field at the same time.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess maybe he comes back for the postseason. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so. All right, more football as we continue on. Rockstar's viewing menu is up next. We still have our Monday's headlines. We'll do that at the top of the hour in the 11 o'clock segment. Tyler Watts later on, Rockstar Playhouse. It's a big, packed Friday here, being brought to you in part by C-Stew and our buddy at Gutter Cap, making sure we talk about protecting your roof with Greg Nelson and Storm Restoration Roofing. Part of protecting that roof, man, is having good gutters, clean gutters, protected gutters.
Patented aluminum cover system. It fits over most existing gutters, keeping that debris out. Eliminate gutter cleaning forever. It's back with a lifetime warranty. And right now, 45% off the retail price for the Next Round viewer and listener. Call my good friend Chris Stewart today, 205-823-2212, or online, guttercapbirmingham.com. Cap it, don't snap it.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Hi, this is Alex Durant from the Better Business Bureau. Does your business believe in ethics? Is your business trustworthy? Do you hold your business to the highest standards? Does customer service reign supreme? After you've answered yes to all these questions, answer this. Are you BBB accredited? If not, why aren't you? BBB is a community of ethical, like-minded businesses and brands that believe ethics and values like trustworthiness play a vital role in the marketplace and in the success of their business. BBB accredited businesses voluntarily hold themselves to a higher standard, in turn making their communities a better place to live and work. The BBB torch was lit over 100 years ago by business owners like yourself to protect the public from the impact of fraud in the marketplace. Today, the torch is carried by businesses large and small who all believe that better businesses make better communities. Apply for BBB accreditation today by calling 205-558-2201. Mention promo code BETTERBIZ for a special offer for Next Round listeners and earn your sign of a better business.
The Alabama Head Injury Foundation strives to improve the quality of life for survivors of traumatic brain injury and for their families. Whether the injury is mild or severe, the life of the injured person and their family is changed forever. The impact can be both emotionally and financially devastating. AHIF provides the information to help clients and families understand the results of injury. AHIF helps access available resources and provides services and programs which meet the unique needs of individuals with traumatic brain injury as well as spinal cord injury in certain programs. Find out how you can help at ahif.org.
For more than 40 years, Red Wing Shoes has been helping the hardworking people of Alabama. This is why Red Wing Shoes has created the 3-step comfort solution. Step 1, a certified fit specialist will use a 3D scan to electronically measure your feet and arches. Step 2, the fit specialist helps you get the appropriate footwear for your occupation. Step 3, customize your boot or shoe with a Red Wing orthotic. Whether you have a high arch or flat feet, Red Wing has comfort solutions for you. So experience comfort at its best. Visit one of the Red Wing shoe stores located in Pelham or Trussville.
Hi, this is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. You're not average, and the New Balance Birmingham store has the shoes and apparel to perfectly match your unaverage self. If we were all shaped the same and had the same level of fitness, and if we all walked and ran exactly alike, well, then I guess an average shoe store selling average shoes would be just fine. But you deserve better. At the New Balance Birmingham store, our specialists will match you with a custom pair of New Balance shoes that fit you perfectly. Come see us at the New Balance Birmingham store. Your feet will thank you.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender. At Alfa Romeo of Birmingham, you can now drive the 2022 Alfa Romeo Giulia TI, the Italian sports sedan of your dreams, starting at $499 per month plus tax with $4,999 down, plus first payment and title due at delivery. Come experience the passion and performance of Alfa Romeo of Birmingham, 1837 Grants Mill Road, or alfaromeousa of Birmingham.com. Like financial lease, 10,000 miles per year, WAC, MSRP, $51,490. Stock numbers Q0059, Q0068, or Q0074.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant Bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
It's time to help Santa out this holiday season by shopping in the Next Round store. Brand new hats, hoodies, and sweatshirts are available right now. Just go to nextround.store. Nextround.store. We have t-shirts and pullovers as perfect gifts this holiday season. And with winter here, the hoodies and sweatshirts are perfect on a cold, wintry night. Easy shipping makes for the perfect gift for the good kid in your life. Log on and check out the entire store, nextround.store. It's nextround.store this holiday season.
Rockstar's viewing menu every day brought to you by our friends at New Life Art, trying to get you ready for the holiday season with a great gift from New Life.
Yeah, so they've got their game week special every single week. This week with Alabama LSU, it's 25% off all Alabama LSU products. This includes limited editions and framing. No code needed. Discount will appear once you put it in the cart. From the Heisman Heights, just great prints from Daniel A. Moore. For more information and to order, go to danielmoore.com. DanielMooreArt.com.
I don't know if I mentioned it. Came out last Friday, but I don't know if I mentioned it. But on Netflix, All Quiet on the Western Front is supposed to be getting huge reviews about being one of the greatest war movies right now. The great cinematography. I do not know if it's dubbed, but it's the young German soldiers' terrifying experiences and distress on the Western Front during World War I. The trailer looks amazing. Like, it's just really looks really well done. But
so it's a remake?
Yeah, on Netflix.
Wow.
So it's supposed to be really good. A lot of people saying it's one of the top war movies right now.
Any A-list in it?
No, nothing I've seen, which makes it more intriguing.
Yeah.
At 7 p.m. on NBC, we've wondered where he goes, but we get the new George Lopez show, Lopez versus Lopez.
I mean, dude gets a show all the time.
This looks really funny, though, because it's him and his daughter.
There's going to be a lot of Hispanic humor?
Yeah, it's him and his daughter, and they just, like, crack back and forth, and she's twerking on a I don't want to ruin it, but she's twerking on a TikTok video. He, like, walks in and gets a beer. It's so funny. And then 10:35 tonight on NBC on The Tonight Show. It's happening tonight. She's seeing her shadow. Mariah Carey reveals herself. It is Christmas season. She is the guest on Jimmy Fallon.
I would like to know, like...
And let me guess, he's going to sing with her?
I would
He's
like...
probably going to laugh with her.
I would like to know, like, what her monthly... I'd like to see, like, a spreadsheet of her monthly income and how it jumps.
I'm sure somebody's
No,
done
you
it.
can Google it right now, how much she makes residuals just off that one song.
Yeah. I would just like to see what the difference is in November and December.
The movie is getting rave reviews over here. I watched it with subtitles. I enjoyed it. It is incredible, beautiful but devastating movie. The only actor I recognize was Daniel Bruhl. Is that Bruhl with an exclamation point?
I don't even know who
Bruhl.
that is.
Yeah.
I will watch it tonight.
Oh, Jody says This Generation Saving Private Ryan. Look out.
But, Brown...
But it's from a German perspective,
Yeah,
right?
I think it's subtitled, so I'm sure you're not going to be enjoying that.
Subtitles are tough on me,
Yeah.
But now I will say this.
I think Jay Perry's wrong, by the way.
What?
Mariah Carey's got a lot more number one hits.
No, I think subtitles are tough for me.
I love them.
But one thing that has helped me a little bit with subtitles is like watching Peaky Blinders and stuff like that, the British stuff. A lot of times I've used subtitles, and the sound is so bad on streaming stuff.
Yeah, after Taboo, the show on FX with Tom Hardy, I couldn't understand anything he said. That broke my listening to subtitles for everything. I watch subtitles on every streaming show I watch.
Dialogue sound is so bad on streaming services. A lot of times have to use it.
I just think what's so fascinating, if you watch something really good with subtitles and you forget that you're reading, you know it's a really good film.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Jay Pear claps back. She's got tons of top tens, just not number ones. Carrie, always with great input in the Vulcan Tire chat room, says he was in Inglourious Bastards. If that helps you at all.
Okay.
Remember him there. All right, that's what Rockstar is watching tonight, brought to you by our friends at New Life Art.
Yeah, and again, their game week special, 25% off all Alabama versus LSU prints, includes limited editions and framings. No code needed. Just go to DanielMooreArt.com.
Headlines in the next hour. Don't forget Bud Light Game Night back on the road next Thursday. Thanks to everybody who watched last night and participated with our show down at the Steel Gastro Pub. Had a good time down there. And thanks again to the folks at the Lord Wedgwood Social who allowed us to come out last night and MC that. We had a great crowd and raised a lot of money for a great cause down at Iron City.
Yeah, it was a really cool event. It always is. Marcia Chwitty does such a good job with that. And Robbie Robertson, Frank Bromberg, Floyd Larkin, they've been behind this for 21 years now. I've been fortunate enough to take part for 20 years. I think you guys have been involved for more than a decade now.
Yeah.
I remember leaving there one time and driving straight to Baton Rouge for the 2012 TJ Yeldon game down in Baton Rouge. I drove overnight, did Friday TV coverage and Saturday. So it's been at least 10 or 11 years that we've been doing that. So thanks for everybody who was with us last night and participating. And that was the first place I realized we were on the cover of Portico this month. I knew we were going to be on the cover. I just didn't know it was out yet, but we had 3 different people walk up last night and said, I got my Portico in the mailbox last night, a local magazine here in Birmingham, and I thought it was a unique looking cover.
I did not know they were going to do that on the cover. Were you aware of that, Rockstar?
I was not, but I do have a dark-ass beard.
Yeah, I mean, they gave us heavy stubble. I will say that.
But they left my hair off. I don't know what happened.
So funny. Who was the actor they put next to you?
Next to Rockstar.
Yeah.
Forrester did that.
Yeah, Scott Forrester did that.
The guy from Law and Order Criminal.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Milani. Whatever.
Yeah, plays Elliot on that.
Yeah, so they did a really cool cover of us on Portico magazine. So go out and get Portico and read the article.
Yeah, it looks like an album cover. It really does.
It actually
if
does,
If we were putting an album together, that would be one of our album covers. Maybe greatest hits.
One of our album covers.
Well, they said they're going to drop some off here.
Well, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
I would
just
like to
don't
see
know
it
when.
myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it works out really good. Thanks for commenting over in the Vulcan Tire chat room over there. Part of the show being brought to you by our friends at Crocker Moving Services, the people there that we recommend you use for residential and commercial moving. Great folks there. Moving season will come back in the spring and summer when it gets here. Remember Eric Crocker's company. He's a Marine, a Birmingham native, a veteran of the Iraq War. CrockerMovingServices.com. CrockerMovingServices.com for all your moving needs. They'll pack up your home and office and move you anywhere in the continental United States. It's CrockerMovingServices.com. One interesting matchup. A lot of love for Hugh Freeze from some of the Auburn folks about that coaching search going on. Liberty on the road at Arkansas in the SEC this weekend. Liberty's had quarterback problems. They played 3 different quarterbacks this year. One of them this weekend, Jonathan Bennett, has had battling the flu all week long. He's going to be a game-time decision if he can go or not go. Meanwhile, Charlie Brewer still recovering from that broken hand. Hugh Freeze says, I don't know who we are at quarterback going into this game.
You know, it hasn't mattered. You know, backup quarterbacks, even against their one loss against Wake, that 1-point loss, they've been really good. They're 5-1 against the numbers of road dogs since 2020. Interesting, this is the first ever meeting between Liberty and Arkansas, and I think it really comes down to who runs the football better. I mean, I think Arkansas is going to win this game. There's a reason they're a 2-touchdown favorite. Raheem Sanders has been great, but on the other side, Day Hunter is averaging almost 7 yards a carry for Liberty.
No, crazy. It doesn't surprise me it's the first meeting. Liberty hadn't been playing football that long, but it surprises me that it's 2 touchdowns. Arkansas gets a big win there. It could be bad timing for the Hugh Freeze campaign in Auburn to get run out of an SEC stadium.
Although, remember, it's my upset alert. Now, I do need the points. Didn't give them all away, but it is my upset alert. I think Liberty hangs in this game with Arkansas.
Interesting. Maybe it'll be one of the headlines, or maybe we're all focused on number 1 versus number 1 with Tennessee and Georgia. The headlines are coming up in the next segment. So, too, is Trash. Later on, Tyler Watts in studio with us in Rockstar's Playhouse. If you missed Henry To'oTo'o on the show, his weekly visit with us, part of our NIL deal with him, or if you missed Andy Staples, it's all podcasted for you at nextroundlive.com. Week 10 of college football continues tonight. Duke and Boston College at 6. Oregon State and Washington at 9:30, both on ESPN2. Day off at the World Series. NFL cranks back up Sunday after an Eagles win last night over the Texans. You're watching The Next Round, being brought to you in part today by our friends right there at Nichols Outfitters. Brownie, tell us about Nichols.
They're just off I-65, exit 242 right there in Pelham. If you got a firearm, maybe a hunting rifle, a shotgun you do not use anymore, they may want to purchase it from you. Maybe you've upgraded firearms a few years ago and still have the old one. Don't hang on to it, let it collect dust or fall in disrepair. Call Nichols. Go by and drop by and see them and see what you can get for your firearm. Nichols Outfitters, I-65, exit 242 in Pelham.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter at RockstarBHM.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant Bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
The Alabama Head Injury Foundation strives to improve the quality of life for survivors of traumatic brain injury and for their families. Whether the injury is mild or severe, the life of the injured person and their family is changed forever. The impact can be both emotionally and financially devastating. AHIF provides the information to help clients and families understand the results of injury. AHIF helps access available resources and provides services and programs which meet the unique needs of individuals with traumatic brain injury as well as spinal cord injury in certain programs. Find out how you can help at ahif.org.
Hi, this is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. You're not average, and the New Balance Birmingham store has the shoes and apparel to perfectly match your unaverage self. If we were all shaped the same and had the same level of fitness, and if we all walked and ran exactly alike, well, then I guess an average shoe store selling average shoes would be just fine. But you deserve better. At the New Balance Birmingham store, our specialists will match you with a custom pair of New Balance shoes that fit you perfectly. Come see us at the New Balance Birmingham store. Your feet will thank you.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com. If you're looking for a fun golf atmosphere that is laid back with a peaceful environment, the Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280, is perfect for you. Just a short drive from Birmingham, this 18-hole, 200-acre track with rolling fairways and ample greens is the definition of peacefulness of the country just miles from the city. Enjoy a great lunch before your round and a cocktail on the wraparound porch after 18. Come see us today. The Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Want more of the Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, the Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
It's time to help Santa out this holiday season by shopping in the Next Round store. Brand new hats, hoodies, and sweatshirts are available right now. Just go to nextround.store. Nextround.store. We have t-shirts and pullovers as perfect gifts this holiday season. And with winter here, the hoodies and sweatshirts are perfect on a cold, wintry night. Easy shipping makes for the perfect gift for the good kid in your life. Log on and check out the entire store. Nextround.store. It's nextround.store this holiday season. If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Start your day on our website, nextroundlive.com. The morning rounds give you the top links to the stories you need to see before going to lunch with your buddies. At nextroundlive.com, you can also watch and listen to the show live or download our top podcast and shop in the Next Round store. New arrivals, new downloads, new shows, new contests, all on one website, nextroundlive.com. Make it your homepage, nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Halfway through the show now on this Friday, week 10 of college football. A couple of programming notes for you. One, the Players Club is out on all of our video and audio platforms. You can go and watch LT and our buddy Mick Gillespie from Bama Insider break down 5 big winners for you this weekend. You can go watch that right now wherever you get any of our content on our 12 different platforms. You can go check out the Players Club. Also, Next Round Preps is out, playoff edition. Lunsford and Jerry Young breaking down week 1 of the college football playoffs and all the big matchups in the area. That wherever you get our content as well. And our new Mystery Fifth Hour non-sports podcast that we put out. That's up. And earlier this week, we did a live edition of Next Round Cocktails.
That's right. Yeah, Brittany and Kelly and me.
And you can watch that on replay since you missed it live if you haven't seen it yet. That too up. So a lot of content out there for you. Right here from Double Down Media as we move into a new hour of the show, brought to you by our friends at Buzzed, B-U-Z-D. They've got the app and they've got an easy delivery on this football Saturday.
Yeah, hey, the weekend is here. I was talking to our man Tyler back there. He said he does a little delivery service.
Yeah.
And I said, why not work for my friends at Buzzed? Bigger price point, bigger tips. A lot of people from DoorDash, they're heading over to work for Buzz. It's the fastest, most affordable delivery service with pricing in line with your favorite package or convenience stores. Buzz will combine the best of service and delivery industries to create this unique to Alabama, first-of-its-kind service found on your app store, BUZD. Put that in, BUZD. Use code NEXTROUND for 15% off your first order. From the Delta 8, Delta 9, they'll deliver it straight to your door. Craft beers, wines, bourbons, anything you need. Tobacco, they're adding the inventory constantly from downtown Birmingham to Highway 119 and everything in between. We bring the buzz to you. Get buzzed, BUZD.
Okay, couple of college football things before we get to our Monday's headlines like the game's already been played. One, with Deion Sanders being talked about for an Auburn position or another Power 5 job leaving Jackson State, a lot of people still think he'll stay at Jackson State. If he does leave, do you think Shedeur Sanders goes with him?
Absolutely, he does.
And is the starting quarterback at wherever he lands?
It depends on where he lands as to whether or not he's the starter. But Shedeur Sanders, a lot of people are talking about as a dark horse Heisman candidate right now. So I would think he could start in a lot of places, especially if you're changing coaches for, you haven't won a lot, right?
I want to tell you, if he goes to Arizona State, Georgia Tech, or Auburn, he is the starting quarterback.
5 touchdowns last week in that high-profile game against Southern.
In the coaching rumor circles, a lot of people are saying watch Arizona State for primetime. The Deion Sanders in Arizona State. If there's one job he takes, now look, coaching rumors, they're tricky, man. When jobs start open, there's a lot of smoke out there created a lot of time by agents to help their client or cover their client,
Exactly.
one way or the other. But in a lot of the coaching circles, the Deion Sanders to Arizona State rumors are picking up some steam.
Well, I think it would be fascinating because you think about USC and UCLA are leaving the conference. Oregon's still going to be a good brand. Utah's still going to be a good brand. But Arizona State's got an opportunity there, especially if they start getting in recruits like Deion could pull.
Justin Hokanson, Auburn Live on 3 Sports, with another update. I think he calls it 4.0 today on the coaching search. His intel there on whether or not Dan Lanning is a possible candidate at Auburn. That I'm
So
not gonna,
interesting.
not going to give you any insight on what Hokanson wrote there, so you can go pay for it.
I'm intrigued by Lanning. We've talked about it before, but if I'm hiring right now, I would like to see more than, what have we seen the guy be a head coach for 8 games?
Yeah.
I'd like to see more than that out of him before I jumped at him.
You've already said he's the guy that's going to replace Nick Saban in Tuscaloosa.
I have said that, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm not Greg Byrne hiring a guy. Like if Nick Saban walked away today, I wouldn't hire Dan Lanning.
And Oregon, maybe it's not the job we thought it was. Willie Taggart takes off after 1 year to go to Florida State. Cristobal, I know it was going back home to Miami.
And Willie Taggart sort of was going home to the state of Florida,
right?
But Chip Kelly went to the NFL. All their coaches, Lance, have basically walked away for something other than Helfrich, who got fired.
Yeah, and Auburn fans are going to get upset with me again. But right now, I wouldn't leave Oregon for.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's something in that Oregon job I don't think we know about.
The thing that would scare me is the Pac-12.
That's part of it.
The Pac-12?
Well, Hokanson has a good thought about Dan Lanning. You can get that at Auburn Live on 3 Sports. I didn't mean to bog us down on the Auburn discussion. That was something that'll go on probably for a few more weeks. We'll have plenty of time for that. With games on the field this weekend, North Carolina's Drake May. Do you guys really, unbelievable numbers. If I said right now he's at North Carolina next year or somewhere else next year, where would you go?
He's going to be at North Carolina. He's got, his brother, I guess, he had 2 brothers that played there, one basketball, one football.
Who's the quarterback at the team we were just talking about? A guy whose dad played at Auburn. I don't know how much that matters.
I think a little bit different, though.
You're talking about Bo Nix?
Yeah, because Bo Nix didn't have success at Auburn.
He didn't, but, if you're Drake May, too.
And he was scrutinized nonstop. Drake May is tearing it up. He leads the FBS with 29 touchdowns.
But if I'm Drake May, I'm like, I can't play any better. I don't know what drives Drake May. I really don't. I obviously know very little about him. But if you're Drake May, is there an inclination to think, I really don't know how much better I can play? What are we going to win here?
Okay, but if I'm Drake May, I think about it like this. We could have beaten Notre Dame. We could be undefeated right now, and we still have an opportunity to win the ACC, and with a little chaos in front.
Now, if that happens, you don't go anywhere. But my point is, I don't think that's going to happen. And at some point, Drake May might, I don't know if he will or not, but he might stop and say, look, if I ever want to win a championship, I'm probably going to have to go somewhere other than North Carolina, and he could have a lot of options.
Weird line. North Carolina only a 7.5
I thought the
favorite.
same thing, yeah.
7.5 favorite at Charlottesville, 11 a.m. on the ACC network this weekend.
I think with that defense, it's hard to, as bad as Brennan Armstrong has played at times this year for Virginia, their quarterback, it's still hard with that North Carolina defense to give them many more points.
You're eager for this headline a little bit more.
No, I'm really not.
Okay.
I just don't want to smear it.
Okay. I see.
Because my handwriting's bad enough. It's not, I told you, my headline sucks this week.
A lot of pressure on these headlines every week. One more before we get to the headline. TCU. There's my upset alert that Texas Tech gets them this week. TCU is the most precarious of the unbeaten teams left for me. 3 straight games now. They have given up 21 points in the first half. You cannot live like that and survive long term.
Well, and you can't live by winning 5 games by 10 or less over the last 6 weeks. Max Duggan's been great, over 2,200 yards, 22 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. They've been great against the number, 6-1-1 against the spread. But you look at Texas Tech, 3-0 against the number following a straight-up loss this season. So Joey McGuire's been able to get his guys back refocused after a loss. I think it's going to be a good game.
Two best offenses, statistically anyway, two best offenses as far as yardage goes. Not necessarily scoring, but yardage in the Big 12. So it should be an up and down. That's kind of the way TCU plays just about every game, is up and down the field. They've been accustomed to that this year.
That's the big noon kickoff on Fox.
That's an entertaining game, I think.
Texas Tech and TCU. It'll be on one of my TVs. And if you're a one-loss team, a fan of a one-loss team, you're cheering for a Texas Tech upset in that one to knock TCU and maybe the Big 12 out of the mix altogether. All right, time for the headlines. It is brought to you in this hour by our friends at Champy's, but also the headlines and the sponsorship that we get every year. What is it? Hit it, Rockstar.
The Baumhauer Spotlight.
Like the game's already been played. Monday's headlines today.
Hey, and our friend Bob Baumhauer delivered Alabama's first ever taste of wings way back in 1981 at Wings and Things in Tuscaloosa right there on the Strip. 40 years, 4 concepts,